Good afternoon and welcome to Gene Bissell Field on the campus of Kansas Wesleyan University for the first round of the 2019 NAIA Football Championship Series. I'm Justin Dean, glad to be with you here this afternoon as the number 3 ranked Kansas Wesleyan Coyotes coming into today's contest at 11-0 on the regular season as they host the Baker Wildcats coming in at 9-2. I'll bring in color commentator Michael Tate. And Michael, glad to have you with us here today. Beautiful mid-November afternoon here in Salina. They got the snow cleared off the field earlier here this morning, and we should be in for a good football contest here today.
Thank you, Justin. We're both excited to be here. I think Kansas Wesleyan graduates, both of us, in 2009. And all the Kansas Wesleyan fans in Salina and in the country and around the world, we're excited that you're with us. And this should be a great, great afternoon, as you mentioned, Justin. There were people out here before the game for 2 or 3 hours making sure that all the snow was out the field, out of the stand, so everybody's safe. It's going to be a great day of football.
So for Kansas Wesleyan, the second year in a row that they have gone through unscathed in the regular season. They come in undefeated here today at 11-0. You take a look at Baker, and a team that you cannot take lightly. They're out of the Heart of America Athletic Conference. They play a whale of a schedule. They started the season at 2-2. They've won their last 7, and they travel well just 2.5 hours up the road near the Leavenworth area as well.
Absolutely, and that's where I'm actually from that area too, Justin. And last year Kansas Wesleyan faced off against Benedictine, and that was a tough end for Kansas Wesleyan. We're looking for a better result today against Baker. Well,
it definitely should be a barn burner type of contest. Kansas Wesleyan, of course, the second largest scoring team in the nation this year. They averaged about 51 points per contest. Looks like they deferred the coin toss. They will be kicking off to start the ball game. You can't take Wesleyan's defense lightly, though, either. They have big key playmakers, and it all starts with that front four and defensive end, Shaq Bradford, the KCAC Defensive Player of the Year this year.
When you talk about all of his tackles for loss, Justin, so many. Well, he's in the 40s now as far as tackles for loss this season. Just impressive, man, stopping those runners behind the line.
Of course, in talking to head coach Myers Hendrickson, had nothing but accolades to talk about for this Baker offense. Probably the most balanced team that they've seen on the offensive side of the ball this year with their KCAC schedule.
Absolutely, and so you come and talk about that Kansas Wesleyan defense. Everybody who's followed this team at all knows how strong the offense is for Kansas Wesleyan with DeMarco Pruitt and Photo at quarterback. But that defense is going to be really key, I think, for Kansas Wesleyan today.
Well, as we mentioned, Wesleyan won the coin toss. They deferred to the second half. Wesleyan in the home purples, trimmed in white and gold. Baker will be in the road whites, trimmed in black and orange. Wesleyan will be going from left to right as you look on here. Back to kickoff for Kansas Wesleyan will be Juan Herrera. And to return the kick here for Baker will be B.J. Harvey and Jordan Green. Again, some snow in the Salina area yesterday. Grounds crew did a great job of getting that off the field here this morning before the kickoff. Wesleyan 11-0 to start round 1 of the NAIA playoffs, and kickoff is underway. It's a line drive kick. Will bounce at about the 10-yard line, taken at the 5. Near side, finding a seam, breaking a tackle. That's actually a great open field tackle there by Kansas Wesleyan. It was Nate Poley with the tackle in the open field, and Baker will start the contest at their own 21-yard line.
Yes, Justin, it looked like the returner was going to get around him, but Poley actually made a nice dive to take out the legs and force him to fall down.
Trotting out onto the field will be the signal caller for the Baker Wildcats. That's Marco Aganaga, the 5'11" junior from Elsa, Texas. 64% completion ratio on the season. He had 20 touchdowns and 10 INTs in Heart of America League play. He'll be out of the shotgun formation. Tailback to his right side. Fakes the handoff, a quick hitter to the far side of the field, and a good open field tackle there by Dakota Anderson for Kansas Wesleyan. Minimal gain there on first down for Baker.
Could have been a lot bigger if not for that great tackle on the flat, Justin.
Looking at the starters across the offense for Baker, across the offensive line, Jared Harvey, Mitchell Grissom, Tyrus Bergeron, Cal Harris, and Brandon LaHer from right to left. We mentioned Marco Aganaga as the quarterback. J.D. Woods, the tailback, Jordan Howard, the fullback. Second down, 5 yards to go. It'll be a shotgun formation once again for Aganaga. He'll have his tailback, J.D. Woods, to his left side. Twin wide receivers to the near side as well. Another quick hitter. Complete. Near sideline and taken out of bounds will be Nate Pauley for Baker. He's very close to the first down. The officials will give him forward progress. He will pick up the first and move the chains.
Paulie fighting for it out here in the flat by us, Justin. Just a little bit of an arm show off to make sure he got just enough yards for that first down.
Of course, Nate Paulie, Sam Huckabee are the starting wideouts for this Baker offense. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Ball placed at the 33-yard line. We're just a minute underway here in Salina. It's a handoff, far side of the field to J.D. Woods. He'll shed a few tacklers, but that Wesleyan defense swarms to the ball carrier there. No gain on the play.
Absolutely. There was pursuit. He had a hole, and then the Kansas Wesleyan defense just swarmed about him, as you mentioned, Justin.
But looking at the starters across the defense for Kansas Wesleyan, they go with that 3-4 look on defense. Across the front will be Shaq Bradford. We mentioned him, the KCAC Defensive Player of the Year, joined by Daniel Killian and Malachi Adams. The linebackers, Anthony Monroe, Warren Singletary, Jasper Chavez, and Charles Barnes III. It'll be 2nd down, 9 to go. Shotgun formation here for Baker quarterback Marco Aganaga. He'll go far side of the field. It will be complete. Not much there on 2nd down. We're seeing Baker go with those quick hits here offensively to begin the contest.
Absolutely. I think they're trying to get the ball out to the flats to get some speed and try to get big gains, but so far that hasn't happened.
Your defensive backfield for Kansas Wesleyan, Javon Codlin and Tevin Jones are the cornerbacks. Dakota Anderson, Scott Helsper, the safety. Gain of 3 on 2nd down will set up a 3rd and 6 situation here for Baker. 12:59 to go, first quarter. Out of the gun, it'll be Aganaga. Has some time, looks downfield, will now take off himself, far sideline, and does a great job of getting out of pursuit from the defense there. He'll move the chains. Great execution there by Aganaga. Didn't see anything downfield. Takes off himself and picks up the first down.
No, and the snap was a little bit low too, Justin. He was able to get that low snap and take a look around and find a better option than trying to force the ball somewhere. So Baker maintains possession.
Well, we talked about Baker earlier on. Started the season 2-2, won their last 7 contests. This is a Wildcats team that's also undefeated on the road this year at 5-0, and their end of schedule was absolutely brutal as they played Benedictine and Evangel, 2 mainstays in the Heart of America League Conference. 1st and 10, it'll be a pitch to the near side to J.D. Woods. That's a great open field tackle there by Dakota Anderson, showing why he was a first-team All-KCAC selection this year. That'll go down as only a 2-yard gain.
Well, and it wasn't just that it was a great tackle, Justin. It was the adjustment, because before the play, you had 3 players on the right side of the Baker line move over, so Kansas Wesleyan making nice real-time adjustments.
Anderson's an absolute beast in that secondary for Kansas Wesleyan. Led the team this year with 7 INTs and shows off the capabilities there of making an excellent open field tackle. 2nd down, ball comes loose on the turf. It'll be bundled up by J.D. Woods. I think Wesleyan caught a break there. It looked like one of the D linemen might have jumped off sides with encroachment there, but no whistle, no flag. That will go down as a fumble and a recovery for Baker, but it's going to set up a 3rd and long situation here.
I think it was just great recognition, perhaps, Justin. I mean, I thought there could have been a flag as well, but there might have been some slight movement by the center.
So the Coyotes catch a break. 11:20 to go, first quarter. We're still scoreless here at Gene Bissell Field. Shotgun formation for Baker. Twins to the near side. J.D. Woods will be to the right hip of his quarterback. Wesleyan drops back. 3-man pressure, and that pass will be incomplete. Aganaga looking for Sam Huckabee on the play, but well overthrown. Wesleyan forces the punting situation.
Shaq Bradford there, Justin, with the quarterback pressure, got his left arm right around the chest area in the back of Aganaga and forcing him to rush that throw.
Well, there's a reason he was KCAC Defensive Player of the Year. He was an All-American in 2018 as well. You mentioned the accolades. He had 18 sacks this year in 11 games. They're averaging over 1.5 sacks, and he gets great pressure there.
Well, and it's not just the sack, Justin. Of course, it's that sometimes you get that pressure to force incompletions.
So Canyon Saunders will be in punting formation here for the Wildcats. Good snap. Punt is away. High end-over-end kick, far side of the field. It'll bounce at about the 20. Wesleyan backs off. It'll roll down to around the 15-yard line, and that's where the Coyotes will set up shop, their first offensive drive of the contest.
Really excited to see this K-Dub offense here in the playoffs, Justin. We'll see how that Baker defense matches up. Should be a very competitive game today.
Second leading scoring offense in the nation this year was Kansas Wesleyan, averaging right around 51 points per contest. And their field general, Johnny Foto, the first team All-KCAC selection this year. He was the KCAC Player of the Year as well, the 6'1 senior from Boulder, Colorado. At tailback will be DeMarco Pruitt. He was the KCAC Offensive Player of the Year this year as well. He was an All-American for this Coyote team last season also. So the Coyotes will start in pistol formation. Man in motion will be Roy Sanders. Handoff will go to Pruitt. He'll test the left side of his offensive line. Not much doing there for the senior. He'll set up second down. So the Wesleyan offensive starters from left to right across the offensive line: Eli Smith, Daniel Fletcher, Alex Gutierrez, Darius Brown, and Martin Santora. Wide receivers are Stevie Williams and Richard McCauley. Roy Saunders is the wing slot back with Trenton Poe Evans at tight end. It'll be second down and 8 for the Coyotes. Ball at the 17-yard line. Pistol, quick hitter, and it'll be intercepted on the far side of the field. I believe it was Bryson Briggs that came away with it for Baker. And unfortunate there for Kansas Wesleyan. That's going to give the Wildcats great field territory here.
Photo was trying to throw a little bit of a quick slant right at the 6 to pick up that first down. A nice play design, but there were 2 defenders there.
Yeah, Briggs jumped the route. He was a first-team Heart of America nominee this year, and just great recognition of the play call there. Jumps the route. That's a big turnover here for Kansas Wesleyan. The defense will be tasked with their backs against the wall here, so to speak. A short field for Baker to work with. Ball at the Wesleyan 23-yard line. First down, I formation. Handoff goes to J.D. Woods, and he will go untouched into the end zone for the Wildcats touchdown. Seam opened up on the right side. Woods hit it. There was nobody there, and an easy score for Baker.
Just running right through that right side of the defense, Justin. And you know, when you come at as an offense, you get that turnover, you're excited, you're ready to go, and they sure took advantage very, very quickly.
Yeah, there was one man there. It was Dakota Anderson. Went for that shoestring tackle and came up just short, as Baker will have our first points of the contest. 10-12 to go. That'll set up the extra point here for Ethan Barnard, the 6'2 freshman. He'll take the snap from Austin Cornwell. Snap, kick up, and it is right down the middle and good. And Baker strikes first here in Salina. 10-12 to go, first quarter. Wildcats lead at 7-0, and well, some early adversity here for Kansas Wesleyan early on, Michael.
And time for Johnny Photo just have a little bit of a short memory with some, no, okay, I'm not going to do that again, but as far as emotionally, he's just got to let it go and just recover from it. We know the man can play, and we'll see how Kansas Wesleyan responds on the ensuing drive.
He's absolutely a big-time competitor. You look at all of his statistics throughout this season. That was only his 12th interception of the year, so he comes in averaging about 1 per game. So maybe gets this one out of the way a little bit early here today, and hopefully he can settle down and work this offense to perfection.
Absolutely. It's tough competition. You know that sometimes things are going to happen, and you just shake it off and move right on.
So Ethan Barnard will be set to kick off here for Baker. Wesleyan will get the football for the second time today, hoping for some more success here on this second possession. Back to return the kick for Kansas Wesleyan will be Quincy Sandoval, the 5'8 freshman, as well as Patrick Blake, the 5'10 junior. Kick is underway. High booming kick, end over end. It will be taken by Blake at about the 7-yard line. Works to the near side. Sheds one tackle and will be met by a swarm of Wildcats at about his own 25-yard line, and that's where Wesleyan will set up their second drive of the contest.
Good return there, Justin. You got to like the way that he's fighting for those few extra yards, but really did a nice job of not letting the coverage team even come close to knocking that ball out. Very good job of protecting the possession. You definitely don't want back-to-back turnovers.
Oh, absolutely not. Big-time playoff atmosphere here today in Salina. Good traveling crowd from Baldwin City up to see their Baker Wildcats here today as well. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Coyotes. Ball at their own 26-yard line. Photo with the play action. Nowhere to go with it. He'll take off with the football himself. There'll be a late flag at the end of the play. Photo will be dragged down at about the 35-yard line, but usually when there's a flag in the backfield, that's usually in the area of an offensive holding.
And that's unfortunate because Photo, as you described, making a play there, Justin. He faked a toss right at the line of scrimmage to throw off the defenders to enable himself to get that open space.
And indeed, it will be a hold on the offense, so erase that 10-yard run for Photo. That's going to back Kansas Wesleyan up once again. And well, this is a high-octane offense in Kansas Wesleyan. It doesn't take them long to hit their stride, but just struggling a little bit here out of the gates early on. So it'll be a 1st and 20 now for the Coyotes. Back the football up to the 16-yard line. Out of the pistol will be Photo. Man in motion is Aaron Jenkins. And testing the right side of the line, nothing doing there for DeMarco Pruitt. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. That'll set up second down. Setting up the Baker defense here across their front four line is Jake Zeiler, Brendan Kellogg, Terrell Simpson, and John Skyer. The linebackers, John Rincon, Sam Squarlow, and McKeese Adams. In the secondary, Will Cox, Bryson Briggs, Yvonne Hollins, and Grant Elston. It'll be 2nd and 20 for the Coyotes. Photo from the shotgun, looks down the field. Great slant over the middle of the field, pass is completed. Great job of hauling it in there by Trayton Poe Evans. That'll set up a 3rd and more manageable here now for Kansas Wesleyan.
And good focus there by Poe Evans as well, Justin. A little bit of the bobble on the initial touch, but he was able to stay in stride and corral it.
So a 17-yard gain there on 2nd and 20. 3rd and short here now for the Coyotes. 3 yards to go to move the chains. Ball at the 33. Out of the gun is Photo. He'll keep it himself, go straight up the gut. Great block there in the middle of the field. Photo's still on his feet. He'll get into Baker territory for the first time today. First down, Kansas Wesleyan. Great field recognition there from Photo. And he got a huge block on the play as well, Michael.
Absolutely, and it's talking about that playmaking ability. Sometimes it's just the little subtle things you do. A little head fake to the right, like he was going to toss it or try to run right. Just go straight up the middle.
And I believe it was Roy Sanders there with the huge block for K-Dub. The 6', 270-pound junior paving the way for his quarterback on that play. Coyotes moving the ball here. First down. Up the gut will be Pruitt. And probably one of his better runs here early on in the contest. That's a gain of 4 on the play.
DeMarco Pruitt getting horizontal to the ground and getting himself a few extra yards there. Didn't look like much, but he found a way to get himself a nice first down pickup.
He has had quite the career here for Kansas Wesleyan. The school's all-time leading rusher had almost 1,300 yards rushing this year and had over 1,100 last year. Off to a good start here today. It'll be 2nd down and 6 for the Yotes. Ball at the 44. Photo out of the gun. Will be eluded. Gets out of pressure. That's a great job there by Photo. Rather than take the sack, he gets out of the pocket. No intentional grounding there. And the Coyotes live to play another down here on 3rd down.
Good recognition, as you mentioned, Justin. He got tall so that he could make sure he got the ball over the lineman, no batted down, no interception, just throw it off into space and live to find another down.
Well, that was definitely Coach Thoren's one of his keys on defense here today for Baker. That was execute the game plan, make Photo uncomfortable with the pass rush. That's exactly what the Wildcats were able to do there. 3rd and 6 for the Yotes. Ball at the Baker 44. Photo. The RPO keeps it himself, sheds one tackler, still moving his feet along the left hash mark, and Photo with yet another rushing first down there for Kansas Wesleyan. Moved the chains last time on 3rd down. We see the quarterback do it here once again.
And we see yet another move from Johnny Photo there, Justin. A little bit of a shimmy to create himself some extra space.
He's very elusive at the quarterback position. He averaged about 5 yards per carry this season and 2 big first downs to keep this drive alive here for Kansas Wesleyan. Ball at the Baker 32, just over 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Out of the pistol formation, Sanders will be the man in motion. Fakes the handoff to Pruitt. Photo looks deep, still look to dump it off. Will intend to try to go deep here on the far sideline, and that pass will go incomplete. Tried to do a little too much there, and again, the Coyotes living to play yet another down. So it'll be 2nd and long for Coyotes. 6:59 to go here in the first quarter. They finally got some momentum going on this drive. Those 2 big 3rd down conversions by the quarterback, Johnny Photo, to keep the ball in motion here for Kansas Wesleyan.
And we'll see if this keeps Baker honest in ensuing plays, Justin, with Kansas Wesleyan able to take advantage.
Twins to the near side. Pruitt the man in motion. Photo out of the pocket. Looks deep. Was looking for Poe Evans here on the near sideline. Just a bit out of his reach. Incomplete. That'll bring up a 3rd and long. Well, Poe Evans certainly has the size at 6'2". Kind of that wide receiver tight end hybrid. One of the big playmakers in this Kansas Wesleyan offense. Haven't called his name that much yet here today, but he's sure to break out at some point.
And getting open, just unfortunately just a little bit behind him, but you like the way he's becoming a threat there.
Coyotes out of the gun, 3rd and long. Twins to both sides of the field. Photo will bring a man in motion here on the near side. Takes the handoff, and he is absolutely swarmed. I think they went to the well one times too many there. That's the exact same play that the Coyotes have run on third down the previous 2 tries. And Photo looks to be perhaps injured on the play. He's holding his right hand. Definitely some discomfort there for the quarterback. And with 4th and long upcoming, Coach Hendrickson's going to bring out the punt team. Hopefully that's not too big of a concern there for Johnny Photo. Definitely favoring that right hand area, though.
Number 22, Juan Herrera.
Hopefully he's able to shake that off and get back into the contest, but certainly concerning if you're a Kansas Wesleyan fan out there today. So Juan Herrera will be back to punt, and we'll have a timeout on the field as well. Looks like the Coyotes want to talk this one over.
Kansas Wesleyan. First time out of the half.
6:08 to go here in the first quarter, and well, you hate to see an injury of this caliber in a playoff game as well, Michael. Johnny Photo, looks like the training staff's taking a look at him here on the near side as well.
Yeah, as he's walking over to the sideline, Justin, in front of us, he's trying to shake out that wrist area. Looks to be a wrist, maybe a hand sort of a thing. He's not, and he wasn't moving his fingers too much, just kind of keeping his hand very, very steady. So we'll see how this turns out.
It doesn't help it's cold out there today either, Michael. It was about 40, 45 degrees here at kickoff today, which you'd expect mid-November day here, but hopefully that's a situation where he's able to come back into the ball game. We talked about his accolades. First team All-KCAC selection this year. He was the player of the year in the conference as well. And his backup, Peyton Farrington, only 12 passes on the season. So we'll see if that plays a factor here later on today. So 4th and 15, Coyotes in the punting formation here out of the timeout. Juan Herrera here to kick it for K-Dub. Back to return for Baker is Grant Elston. Kick is away, high end over end kick on the far side, and it will roll into the end zone for the touchback, unfortunately. Gave his kickoff team a chance there, but unfortunately they're unable to get to it before rolling into the end zone.
It's interesting, Justin, as Herrera kicks that ball, he drops it instead of the ball being facing straight forward, almost dropped it straight down and to kick it straight up in the air. Got a very interesting bounce as it landed.
So Baker will have their 3rd offensive possession here of the contest. They lead it early, 7-0, with just under 6 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. Well, the Coyotes had their backs against the wall the previous possession after the Wesleyan interception. We'll see if the defense can come up huge here. 1st and 10. There'll be a pitch handoff to the far side of the field. J.D. Woods with the carry on the play for Baker. Finds that far sideline, and a good chunk of change there on 1st down with the pickup of 5.
Baker really sticking with those running plays early on, Justin.
Well, you look at this offense for Baker. They're balanced, but they have a very strong running game. Both of their running backs, and J.D. Woods and Nigel Houston, they average over 7 yards per carry. And Woods has that elusive speed, as we saw in the 23-yard touchdown run. It'll be 2nd down and 5, ball at the 25. Pistol formation, it'll be a handoff to the aforementioned Nigel Houston. Blake breaks one tackle, and he's able to get past the 1st down marker and move the chains here for the Wildcats.
Making this up for the Oaks is number 10, David Mayers.
So David Mayers with the tackle there for Kansas Wesleyan, and another 1st down for Baker as they continue to move the chains here early on in this ballgame.
32-yard line.
Ball at the 32. Aganaga out of the pistol. Quick hitter to the far side of the field is complete. Gang tackle on the far sideline by Kansas Wesleyan. Sam Huckabee with the catch there.
Huckabee tried to cut back inside, Justin, but Kansas Wesleyan, as you mentioned, with the contain there, you like to see that pursuit.
That's something that Baker's been good at here so far to begin the contest. They're not taking the negative play. They're taking what the defense gives them. They'll pick up 2, 3, 4, 5 yards every time. Makes it a more manageable down the next time around. So it'll be 2nd and 7 here. Ball at the 35-yard line. Aganaga out of the pistol. 3-step drop. Looks far side of the field and incomplete. Great job there by the D-back, Javon Conlon, the 5'10 senior from Delray, Florida, with the pass defense there. He's a ball hawk in that secondary and showing off the skills there.
Very nearly coming away with the interception. Impressive on that play, Justin, as he's able to prevent the completion and almost get the interception.
Yeah, Codlin had 8 passes defended in 11 games in the regular season for Kansas Wesleyan. Does a great job there of knocking that one away as well. 3rd down and 7 to go for Baker. Ball at the 35-yard line. Man in motion is Huckabee from near to far side. Out of the gun is Aganaga. Woods to his right hip. Quick hitter, and it's incomplete. Aganaga rushed the pass there. It hits the turf, and that'll set up 4th down.
Let's go back to that 2nd down play, Justin. You see so many times a defender in the flat tries to make a big play and winds up tipping the ball back to the receiver or just missing completely, but Codlin somehow managed to do both prevent the pass completion and almost make an interception. Sometimes as an athlete you commit to one thing, you mess up the other, but he did a nice job of balancing his efforts there.
This is exactly what this Wesleyan defense had needed as well. They needed a little bit of momentum after the previous drive with the short field to work with. They set up the punt here for Baker. Kick is away, end over end, and it looked like the returner lost it in the sun there. It was Johnny Carmack at about the 35-yard line. Might have lost it in the sun there, and the kick will roll all the way down to the 14-yard line. So another long field here to work for Kansas Wesleyan. The offense has worked in spurts here so far, but we've yet to see that complete drive here for Kansas Wesleyan, Mike.
Absolutely. We've several good plays, recognitions by Johnny Photo of picking up whatever. To your point about Baker, Baker's is taking what Kansas Wesleyan's defense is giving him. Photo was doing that on that first drive, which enabled Kansas Wesleyan to get into Baker territory. We'll look to see if we get a few more pass plays on this drive, Justin.
So this is the 3rd drive of the game for Kansas Wesleyan, and they'll have it at their own 14-yard line with 4:03 to go. First quarter. It'll be a handoff left side to Pruitt. Looks for an opening in the O-line. Nothing doing there for Pruitt. He might have gotten a yard or two. It'll set up 2nd down. Well, Pruitt came into today's matchup averaging it right around 4.5 yards per carry on the year, but you have to credit that front 4 of this Baker defense. They have done a good job in bottling up the KCAC Offensive Player of the Year here so far. 2nd and 8 to go. Out of the pistol, Photo will roll here to the near sideline. Pass complete on the near sideline to Stevie Williams, and that'll bring up a Kansas Wesleyan 1st down. First catch of the day for Williams.
And that was a great touch there, Justin. Sometimes as a quarterback, you get out in the flat and you throw with too much velocity, but very, very nice touch. Almost feathery in a way. Just got it right to the receiver.
And he was the big man on campus last week. Senior day came up with a huge catch against Bethel. It made the Sports Center top 10. It was that great. He'll give Kansas Wesleyan a 1st down here. Ball at the 34-yard line. Handoff right side. Pruitt tries to find a seam on the right side of that offensive line, but yet again swarming to the ball is that front 4 of the Baker defense. Another minimal gain here on 1st down for Kansas Wesleyan. Wilcox with the tackle coming up from his cornerback position for Baker. 2-yard gain for Pruitt. It's 2nd down and 8 to go. Ball at the 31-yard line. Sanders, the man in motion. Out of the pistol, Photo looks down the field, nowhere to go with it. Now scrambles to the near side, keeps it himself, and he's forced out of bounds right around the 30. Gets back to around the original line of scrimmage, but another 3rd and long upcoming here for Kansas Wesleyan.
Just really good marking downfield there by Baker, Justin. Just nowhere for Photo to go.
So many playmakers on this Wesleyan offense. You talk about Stevie Williams, Richard McCauley, DeMarco Pruitt, Trayton Poe Evans. They are all first-team KCAC selections this year. Baker's bottled up about everybody here so far. A testament to this strong Wildcats defense. It'll be 3rd and 10 now for Kansas Wesleyan. Ball at the 25. Photo looks downfield. Pass complete right side. Poe Evans fights for the 1st down, and he is going to be 1 yard past the marker. Great recognition, knowing where he is in the field, knowing where he needed to pick up the 1st down, and that's exactly what the All-American's able to do there.
Poe Evans running sort of an inside post route, Justin, just right along the sticks, as you mentioned. Great recognition.
And the Coyotes are going to go with a bit of a hurry-up offense here. 1st and 10, ball at the 40, under 2 minutes to go. First quarter. Photo looks downfield, near sideline, and overthrows his intended wide receiver, incomplete, and Stevie Williams, but Yvonne Hollins would have been there to clean it up right away for Baker, so it might have been good that it went over Williams heading out of bounds. 1:54 to go. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Kansas Wesleyan. Ball at their own 40-yard line. Twins to the near side. Lone receiver far side of the field is Stevie Williams. Out of the pistol, Photo takes the snap. Looks downfield, pump fakes, will now go for the big hitter deep down the field, and it's incomplete. But a flag on the play as well. Johnny Carmack trying to locate the football, but the defender failed to look back and locate, and they're going to get him for a defensive pass interference, I believe.
The ball actually hits the defender in the back, which is what caused the pass incompletion. But as you mentioned, Justin, if you don't turn around, that flag is going to come out every single time.
Well, the officials are going to have a conference here at about the 15-yard line, still awaiting the official word. The white hat with the call.
On the defense.
And they will get defensive pass interference there on Baker. That's a huge penalty for the Wildcats. It'll get the Coyotes into Baker territory here for the second time today. So they will mark that football at the 45-yard line of Baker, and Kansas Wesleyan's in business here on this drive. Looking to counter the earlier touchdown from the Wildcats. Out of the pistol. Photo with the handoff to Pruitt. Finds a seam right side. He is barreling through defenders at the right hash mark, and the hometown crowd absolutely loves that. By and far, DeMarco Pruitt's best run of the contest yet.
I think I counted five Baker would-be tacklers going after him, Justin, dragging them all the way down the field. Just an impressive play.
Uses that 5'10", 215-pound frame, lowers the shoulder, and barrels through for the first down. Ball at the 34. Photo from the pistol. Has time in the pocket. Containment breaks down. Receiver pops open on the near sideline. It's complete to Trenton Poe Evans. That's another first down for Kansas Wesleyan, and I think we're finally starting to see this high-octane offense hit its stride.
Poe Evans helping Photo make something out of nothing. Comes back for the ball. Heads downfield. Comes back right just past the sticks. Great catch right on the sideline, Justin.
Trenton had quite the season this year as well. 15 receiving touchdowns, over 600 yards on the year, and a big first down catch there. Photo from the pistol, hands it off to Pruitt. He'll be gang tackled at about the 20-yard line, but we're seeing a good mix here offensively as well for Kansas Wesleyan. The run game has now set up that deep passing threat as well.
Absolutely, and I think that play, Justin, it only gained one more yard than down on the other side of the field as a very similar running play, but we're starting to see a little bit more of a push from the Kansas Wesleyan offensive line. That difference of 1 yard or so on each of those running plays is going to help set up those shorter yards on the ensuing plays.
First time the Coyotes have been in the red zone here today. Ball at the 19-yard line. Photo back to pass. Containment breaks down. He's going to take off himself. Cuts from right to left, and a good open field tackle there by Baker. It limits what Photo was able to do. I think he was sniffing end zone on that play, and great pursuit to the football there by the Baker defender.
Well, I agree with you, Justin. He's looking for getting down to the end zone, but the other thing you have to love is when he's in space, he's not rushing his decisions. He's waiting to make sure that that's a good route to go. If he needs to change his mind, he does so.
And we have reached the end of the first quarter. At the end of one here at Gene Bissell Field, it's Baker 7, Kansas Wesleyan 0. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this.
1. Ball at the Baker 13-yard line.
It's 3rd and 1 for Kansas Wesleyan. As we start the second quarter of action from Gene Bissell Field. 3rd down and 1 to go for the Coyotes. Ball at the Baker 13-yard line. First time today that Wesleyan has sniffed the red zone. There'll be Photo in the pistol formation. Low snap. He'll have to get away with it, looking for that deep fade in the back of the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Kansas Wesleyan. Beautiful fade into the back end corner there for the Coyotes. And Kansas Wesleyan hits pay dirt for the first time today.
That's such a tough route to defend, Justin, and a beautiful, beautiful throw. There's not much the defense can do unless you can somehow manage to get into the way of the ball. The receiver is the one who knows the ball is coming, and the defense has very little they can do.
And Aaron Jenkins with, it was Richard McCauley with the touchdown there for Kansas Wesleyan. We have him as 15 in the program. He's 85 on the field. And that's McCauley's 3rd touchdown of the season. Great execution there for the Coyotes, and they'll tack on the extra point as well. And that's exactly what the offense needed, the medicine that cured them, and they're able to tie up this contest early on to begin the second quarter.
And just big catches on that drive. Several really, really nice plays. Running by Johnny Photo and Trenton Poe Evans, man, what can you say? 3 excellent, excellent catches today, helping the Coyotes get those sticks moving.
Well, we've talked about the Baker defense here today as well. They came in allowing opposing offenses to score only 14 points per contest. They've been so stout against the run here early on. DeMarco Pruitt, I believe, had his best drive of the game so far. He was able to set up that passing attack for Kansas Wesleyan with 2 huge runs up the middle.
One thing we are seeing is from Pruitt is the tough runs, Justin. There's no tackles for loss by Baker so far. DeMarco Pruitt has been able to bust through the line for yard 2, 3. Of course, he had that one nice run where he made 5 guys have to drag him to the ground after a 9-yard gain, but really just making sure there's no negative plays. Both teams are really doing a good job of that so far, Justin.
So Juan Herrera set to kick off here for the Oats. Kansas Wesleyan with the huge scoring drive here to begin the second quarter. It's a low end-over-end kick. Will bounce at about the 10-yard line. Is taken at the 5 by B.J. Harvey. Splits one defender and is brought down at about the 28-yard line there by Kansas Wesleyan.
Harvey just nice, almost straight ahead run, just cutting to his left a little bit. 20-yard return. Nice pickup on a low kick.
So the Coyote defense maybe able to breathe a little bit of a breath of fresh air here. They had the short field to work with on the previous possession there by Baker where they're able to get into the end zone. But their ability to set up a short field for the offense is what has tied this ball game up. The 1st and 10 Baker, ball at the 28-yard line. Under center is Aganaga. Looking for a seam on the right side and bottled up by that Wesleyan front 7. J.D. Woods picks up a gain of about 4 yards.
With the exception of the touchdown play, Justin, on a short yardage situation, the Kansas Wesleyan defense has really done, I would say, a pretty nice job of containing Baker's offense. No big plays, and just really making sure they're pursuing well as a team, and that's what I like to see as a Wesleyan alumnus. It's great to see all that teamwork out there.
Yeah, this is a dangerous front 7 on the defense for Kansas Wesleyan. They get to the ball, they make plays. They're able to do there on 1st down. 2nd down, 6 to go. Out of the gun, Aganaga is able to shred one Wesleyan defender there in Shaq Bradford and gets off a completed pass here on the near side. Sam Huckabee comes away with the football there for Baker, and that'll be a Wildcats 1st down on the play.
Aganaga with about a 3-quarter delivery there, Justin. Despite the pressure, he's able to make that completion. Huckabee, not a lot of space, not a lot of room to work with, but able to haul it in.
Yeah, Shaq Bradford was bringing the pressure. He was bringing it in a hurry. Aganaga sensed it, was able to get out of containment there and pick up the 1st down for the Wildcats. They have it at their own 43. It's a handoff to J.D. Woods, and he goes absolutely nowhere on the play. Great job by the Wesleyan defense there to sniff that one out. It's a loss in the backfield of about 5 yards. And what do you know, it's Shaq Bradford once again. He had the pressure on the previous down and is able to bring the tailback down in the backfield on that play.
It's about a 6-yard loss, Justin. Woods tried to cut it back to the left side, and Shaq Bradford would have none of it.
Well, Bradford has 24 tackles for a loss this year. He'll add another one to his resume. Second down, 16 to go. Another handoff to J.D. Woods. Nothing doing once again. This Wesleyan defense starting to feed off the home crowd here today in Salina.
Looked like Warren Singletary, Justin, on the tackle. Just absolutely just taking that confidence rent from Shaq Bradford and says, hey, this is my play, buddy.
Singletary, the leading tackler on the year for Kansas Wesleyan, the 6-foot senior for Hawkinsville, Georgia, had 78 tackles coming into today. Third and long on the far side of the field, pass incomplete. It was that quick hitter once again, Aganaga trying to set up the bubble screen on the far side of the field, and it looks like he just rushed the throw once again.
He rushed a little bit, Justin, and that was very nearly a fumble because that was a straight lateral. Very, very close to a big play for Kansas Wesleyan. Really doing a nice job forcing the Baker offense to go sideways instead of forward there.
So fourth down, punting situation for Baker. Kenyon Saunders will kick it away. It'll be Carmack back to take the punt return here for Kansas Wesleyan. Good snap, punts away, high end over end kick. Carmack will take it at the 32 and wait for the fair catch. So the Wesleyan defense does its job once again. We'll see what the Coyotes are able to do offensively here after the previous touchdown on the last drive.
What was nice about that previous drive for Kansas Wesleyan is Baker was able to contain on the initial reads, but then Johnny Foda making plays out of nothing. And on this ensuing drive, let's see if Kansas Wesleyan can make some things happen right off the bat.
Yeah, we've seen some RPO plays here early on from Foda. A couple of drives ago, it looked like he was favoring that right hand. We have not seen any indication of any sort of injury. He looked flawless on that previous scoring drive. He'll take the snap from center, first down and 10, ball at the 32, hands it off to Pruitt. Pruitt tries to find a seam on the left side and is able to pick up a minimal gain there on first down.
Sometimes, Justin, in these big games, you like to see players just making sure that they execute what they know how to do. And what I'm liking about watching DeMarco Pruitt run so far today is he's just doing a great job of protecting the ball. He's only got that one big gainer, but he's just really making sure the defense cannot knock that ball away.
Yeah, he's averaging about 3.5 yards per carry, picks up one there on first down. It's 2nd and 9, ball at the 33. Photo out of the shotgun formation, has time. Looks far side and passes incomplete. He was looking for Stevie Williams on that far sideline and maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. Ball goes to the outside, receiver comes inside, and that'll set up third down. So Photo will get the offensive play call from his coordinator, Matt Myers, his 4th season here at Kansas Wesleyan. K-Dub's done a good job on third downs here as of late. We'll see if they're able to move the chains here. Man in motion will be Richard McCauley. Trip set to the far sideline. Great protection there for Kansas Wesleyan. He tried to find McCauley over the center of the field, and that is broken up and incomplete. Great job there by Bryson Briggs. I believe that's who it was to break up that pass and set up a 4th down here.
We're just seeing players on both sides, Justin, respond no matter, but whether it's offense, defense, just a lot of really great things so far. Baker breaking up the pass, McCauley making a great effort. Just really great playoff game so far, Justin.
Yeah, it's really been a chess match between these two teams. Both high-octane offenses coming in, and it's been both defenses that have stepped up here early on in the first half. So in punting formation is Juan Herrera. Snap is good, kick is away, low end over end kick will bounce at about the 39 and just hit the turf. It'll be down at the 38. Not a lot of hang time on that punt, but does the job. But Baker will have good field position here to open their second drive of the second quarter. We gotta like what you see out of both teams here so far, Michael. Of course, Kansas Wesleyan coming in at 11-0 on the season. Baker at 9-2, and it's been a back and forth battle between these two teams here so far.
Just great competitiveness, Justin, both ways as you described. Playmaking happening on both sides, especially with the containment. I think there could be a bit of a sense of both teams trying to feel each other out in that first quarter. Now we're starting to see a little bit more aggressiveness.
Wildcats will take over at their own 39-yard line, 11:36 to go in the first half. And down the field, a big hitter there by Aganaga as he hits his wide receiver in stride. And that's his big playmaker, Sam Huckabee. That's the largest gain of the contest for either squad and nearly gets Baker into the red zone. Just a go route here along the far sideline. Huckabee comes away with it past Rashawn Broomfield. Broomfield about a step behind there for Kansas Wesleyan.
Well, what Huckabee did so nice there, Justin, is he made sure to secure the ball before trying to run. Sometimes you take off too soon as a receiver and don't make the catch.
Under center for first down is Oganaga. Pitches it near side and nothing doing there. The pitch goes to Nigel Houston. And a great job there by Charles Barnes III of forcing the tailback out of bounds. And he just shreds the block there from the right tackle and Cal Harris and is able to swallow up the tailback in the backfield.
He almost sort of snuck up on the runner there, Justin.
So a loss of 5 on the play. Huge there for Kansas Wesleyan in this defense with Charles Barnes. That'll be a shotgun formation for Oganaga. Might be a hold there. Pass is almost completed. It'll be tipped and incomplete. Looking for Brennan Feeback, the backup tight end from Spring Hill, Texas, over the middle. Dakota Anderson in the coverage there for Kansas Wesleyan. That was a bit out of the reach for the tight end in Feeback.
And you had a defender almost literally nipping at Oganaga's heels there. Got forced to the ground, but kept the pursuit, almost crawling to pursue that sack. You gotta love that effort, Justin.
We talked about the ball hawking abilities of the free safety in Dakota Anderson. 7 interceptions on the season. And does a good job with containment there. 3rd and long for Baker. 15 to go to move the sticks. Ball at the KW 26-yard line. Oganaga looks down the field. And it will be broken up and incomplete on the play. Great job by Scott Helsper, the strong safety from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, able to break that one up and set up the 4th down.
Just absolutely terrific play, Justin. Just breaking that up, and a great response. Those three downs by Kansas Wesleyan to force the field goal attempt after that big gain.
And Helsper a little bit disappointed with himself there. I think he wanted to come away with the INT, but all the same, a great job of breaking that one up and forcing the long field goal try here. It'll be Ethan Barnard. About a 43-yard attempt upcoming. Kick is away. It is up, and that is going to fall well short and no good. So the Wesleyan defense bend but didn't break on that drive, and a turnover on downs here by Baker will give the Coyotes their best field position of the ballgame. So Wesleyan, they allowed that one big hitter on the near sideline to Sam Huckabee, the receiver with about 1,200 yards receiving on this season. They didn't let that phase them, though. 3 big plays, 2 go for a loss. They set up the long field goal. It comes up short, and Kansas Wesleyan will get the ball off the turnover on downs.
And I think if you're a defensive coordinator, that's how you want to see your team respond. Every now and then, you know you're facing a great team. They're going to make a great play. You want to see your defense come back.
Coyotes have it at their own 26. Photo fakes the handoff, rolls to the far side of the field. Quick hitter, it's complete on the far sideline, and breaking containment is Stevie Williams, 35-40. And forced out of bounds on the far sideline. The defender slipped on the turf. We talked about the snow here early on. Turf might still be a little bit wet on that side of the field, and Stevie Williams is able to break off a huge gain there for Kansas Wesleyan.
Justin, you mentioned in the first quarter, Baker was going to try to make Photo uncomfortable. He had the most space I've seen in a passing attempt thus far.
The offense moves into Baker territory once again. Ball at the Wildcats' 41-yard line. Just over 10 minutes to go here in the first half. It'll be handoff up the gut to Pruitt. And he'll be swallowed up at about the line of scrimmage. Defense holding containment there of the O-line, and no gain on the play for DeMarco. Well, we talked about the big play-making ability of this Kansas Wesleyan offense, and a huge job by Stevie Williams on the previous play. It'll be 2nd down, a long 9 to go. Ball at the 40. Man in motion will be Richard McCauley. Trips to the near side of the field. Photo will look here on the near side, and it's complete at the 13-yard line to Trenton Poe Evans. He had to go down to the turf to make the catch, but a great job there and locating the football and coming up with a big first down for Kansas Wesleyan.
Justin, I thought you had a very apt description of Trenton Poe Evans as kind of a hybrid tight end and wide receiver there. You just love that downfield pickup there.
And the tackles have done a good job in allowing Photo to get some more time in the pocket there. Eli Smith and Martin Santora able to give a cushion there for their quarterback and Johnny Photo, and that'll put the Coyotes in the red zone once again, sniffing the end zone. First down and 10 to go. Ball at the 19-yard line. It'll be handoff to Pruitt, left side, looks for a seam, lowers the shoulder once again, and he'll be very close to picking up yet another Coyote first down. They're going to mark him just short, though.
Pruitt isn't getting necessarily tons of yardage, Justin, but you got to love how tough he is running inside. Kansas Wesleyan just going back, having that battle. And we'll see how that plays as we go forward in this game.
There's McKees Adams with the tackle there for Baker. The linebacking crew really the core of this Wildcats defense, but the Wesleyan offense able to get to that second level there on that first down. Second down, 4 to go. Pruitt will take the handoff this time to the right side. The defense not having any of that one. Got maybe a yard. It looks like they're going to mark it right about the original line of scrimmage. It'll be a 3rd down and 5 here once again. Just under 8 minutes to go, first half. Locked up in a tight one here at Gene Bissell Field, tied at 7-all. Photo out of the pistol. He'll fake the handoff to Pruitt, keeps it himself. Photo gets to around the 5-yard line. I think he's going to be just short of the line to gain. And a huge decision coming up for head coach Myers Hendrickson. Maybe about a half yard to go to pick up the first. What will he do here?
Well, and you have 3 different options, Justin. You can attempt the field goal, you can go for that first down, or you can go the touchdown. So I think the combination of dual threat of getting the first down or the touchdown is why we're seeing Kansas Wesleyan go for it.
They will keep the offense on the field. 4th down, short, 2 to go. Sanders, the man in motion. Photo keeps it under duress, will throw up a prayer. It's incomplete. A lot of contact there, and there's the flag as well. Trenton Poe Evans was tied up with Yvonne Hollins here on the near side. Looked like their feet might have gotten tangled up, but there was a lot of contact there, and we have 3 different flags on the field.
Well, I think, based on what I've seen from Trenton Poe Evans, I think he was going to break away and make that catch, Justin. Nice little floater throw there by Photo, and Trenton and Poe Evans got forced to the ground there, Justin.
That is indeed the call. Pass interference on the defense. We saw the previous scoring drive. Photo go with that deep fade to the back end of the end zone. He was in so much duress there, though. I think he had no other choice but to throw up that pass to Poe Evans. And the defense will bail him out. It'll set up a 1st and goal here for Kansas Wesleyan. Ball at the 2-yard line. Photo will hand it off to Pruitt, and he will make his way into the end zone for the Kansas Wesleyan touchdown. A 2-yard scamper for DeMarco Pruitt gives the Coyotes their first lead of the ball game.
Well, Justin, you mentioned coming into the second quarter, DeMarco Pruitt only averaging a few yards a carry, but in those goal line situations, we've seen DeMarco Pruitt make those tough runs time and time again so far in this game. And right there, it plays really well in the goal line situation. If you can get 2 or 3 yards, that's what you need. Great tough run by DeMarco Pruitt.
And a great pancake block by the center. Alex Gutierrez set up that seam for Pruitt to scamper in from 2 yards out. Coyotes go up 13-7 with the extra point pending. Kick is away by Herrera. It is up and good. So Kansas Wesleyan, their first lead of the contest with 7:03 remaining in the first half. It's the Coyotes 14 and the Wildcats 7. And now back-to-back scoring drives for this Wesleyan offense. They struggled coming out of the gates here to begin, Michael, but they've really hit their stride here in the second quarter.
Well, I think what I'm really enjoying, Justin, so far from the Kansas Wesleyan offense is, like you mentioned the last couple drives, is the creativity. Early on, Johnny Photo said, okay, I'm going to make something out of nothing here, get a few running plays. Baker tried to respond and contain him, and Kansas Wesleyan just getting a little more creative. And I just got to appreciate the toughness that Kansas Wesleyan has showed, both mentally and physically, to respond.
I think they're feeding off their defense as well. So some big-time energy on back-to-back possessions for the Coyotes defense as well. 2 negative plays with that long field goal by Baker, nothing doing, and the Coyotes reward the defense with the long scoring drive there.
Absolutely, Justin, a tremendous effort. The defense just continues to pursue and really lead the way. The offense is finding a way to respond. And I know I keep saying his name, but Trenton Poe Evans is having one heck of a game, Justin. Sometimes it's not just the catches you make, but merely the threat. And that pass interference there on the goal line was huge.
Herrera with the kickoff for Kansas Wesleyan, end over end, will hit the turf and roll into the end zone for the touchback. That's the second time today we've seen the returners struggle with the sun there a little bit. And for the first time today, Baker's going to have to work the length of the field here on this possession. They've been benefited some short fields on previous possessions here earlier on.
You can't catch what you can't see, Justin. The return man just throws his hands up in the air and says, I have no idea where the ball is. He did well, frankly, just to get out of the way because the ball almost hit him in the shoulder pad.
So Kansas Wesleyan defense will come back out onto the field looking for some more success. Great job the last two possessions. We'll see what they can do defensively here on this one. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats, ball at the 25. Aganaga under center. The handoff goes to J.D. Woods, and he is going absolutely nowhere. Loss of one in the backfield, and the Wesleyan defense again there with the pursuit to the football. We talked about the dangerous front seven for Kansas Wesleyan. We've gone Shaq Bradford's name here a couple of times today. Warren Singletary and Charles Barnes III also with some big plays here early on for the Coyotes. 2nd and 11 for Baker, ball at their own 24-yard line. Aganaga will go with the quick hitter to the far side. Hits his receiver Sam Huckabee for a minimal gain, but makes it a 3rd and manageable situation here for Baker.
Both sides making good play there. Huckabee with a nice catch under duress, getting close to the sideline, and getting forced out.
Rashawn Broomfield there with the tackle for Kansas Wesleyan, the senior from Weed, California. Had 28 tackles on the year for Kansas Wesleyan. And the Coyotes will now face a 3rd and 6 situation on defense. Ball at the Baker 29-yard line. Aganaga out of the pistol, looking near side. Pursuit is there by the front four for Kansas Wesleyan. Aganaga in duress somehow, some way. Got the pass off, but it will be ruled incomplete. Nate Pauley broke free here on the near sideline, went all the way down to the turf, trying to secure that football, but it's all for naught. Great pressure there by the Wesleyan defense. They force Aganaga out of the pocket. He does get off the pass, but as you see right there, yep, that hit the turf and incomplete, and that'll force the punt once again for Baker.
Is that pressure once again, Justin. Aganaga, pretty nice touch. Unfortunately for him, the ball floating in a little bit wobbly, and that's why he didn't have quite the distance he needed to make that completion to Pauley.
And the first 3 and out here today for the Wesleyan defense. Punt is away, short kick, far sideline. It will roll out of bounds right about the 37-yard line as the far side official makes the mark. And another short field here for Kansas Wesleyan to work with, and we saw what they were able to do on their previous possession. It resulted in a touchdown.
And you know, those tough runs by DeMarco Pruitt, Trenton Poe Evans getting free and just finding opportunities wherever they lie. Kansas Wesleyan really believed coming in. Coach Myers Hendrickson talking about how he believed that the senior experience of Kansas Wesleyan would really come into play, why he believed he had so much, why he knew he had so much confidence in his team. That's that response I think we saw early on, Justin. Kansas Wesleyan just finding its way, and now they're really starting to maybe impose their will a bit.
So out of the pistol formation, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Coyotes. Photo looks near side, pass is complete, and breaking containment there along the near sideline. Stevie Williams down the near sideline. They'll be forced out of bounds around the 20-yard line. Stevie Williams' big playmaking ability shining its bright light there once again. That's a huge pickup there for the Coyotes. Near side, the defender just whiffed on the tackle, and the yards after the catch proving absolutely pivotal there for Kansas Wesleyan as they're sniffing the red zone once again. That's the second time today Stevie Williams has made a defender miss in the open field. 1st down for the Coyotes as Pruitt will barrel his way through the right side of that offensive line and pick up about 4 yards on 1st down.
Let's go back a minute to the completion, Justin, by Stevie Williams. It's not just the way he broke himself into space. You notice at the end of the run, he says, I'm not going to try to have some possible fumble here. Just takes a nice little step out of bounds. It's that taking care of the ball that you love to see from the Kansas Wesleyan offense.
Coach Hendrickson mentioned this is the most efficient defense that this team has seen all year. They're really hitting their stride here in the second quarter. Photo breaks containment. Nice stutter stepping. Breaks the defender's pursuit there. Tried to bring it back to the near sideline and ran about 30 or 40 yards there to pick up only 1, but that's just a great job of trying to keep the play alive.
And that was kind of 2 plays in 1 there, Justin, because you got to give credit to the offensive line. Initially, Photo had all kinds of time 5-6 seconds to look for a throw. Coverage downfield was too good, and then it became a breakaway and make something out of nothing.
Jake Zeiler went for that tackle on the far sideline. Pruitt's like, Photo's like, nope, I'm going to go this way. He goes left side, picks up about 1. We'll set up 3rd and 5 here. Just over 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Coyotes looking to add on to their lead, up 14-7. Out of the pistol, Photo looks right, now comes back left. Wide open in the middle field, Stevie Williams, he breaks the tackle and goes into the end zone for the Wesleyan touchdown. It was only a matter of time for Stevie Williams, his 3rd catch of the day, and that one finds pay dirt.
Stevie Williams managed to find himself some space, catches the ball in traffic, breaks the tackle, and nobody was going to catch him there. He saw that beautiful purple end zone we've got here at Gene Bissell Field, and he was gone, Justin.
Another missed tackle in the open field. It was Grant Elston whiffing there for Baker, and Williams makes them pay, getting into the end zone, and the Coyotes go up 2 scores pending the extra point here. Kick is away by Herrera. High end-over-end kick is up and good. 3 straight scoring drives for the Coyotes, and they now find themselves with a 2-possession lead at 21-7 with just under 4 minutes to go. And we talked about the big playmaking ability of this Kansas Wesleyan offense, and it is really shining through here in this second quarter, Michael. Big play there by Stevie Williams. And here you see it from about 23 yards up. Just an inside slant route. Stevie Williams is wide open and only had 1 defender to make miss. And it was off to the races from there as Williams finds the end zone for the Coyote touchdown. And you see Photo, he was so composed in the pocket. The offensive line did a great job in protecting their asset, so to speak, in the quarterback, Johnny Photo.
Absolutely, Justin. Ever since that play where we were worried that Photo had gotten hurt, the protection has really, really stepped up. Photo has had so much more time to throw in the last drive and a half.
So Herrera to kick it off. Coyotes lead at 21-7. Remember, they'll get the football to start the second half as well, deferring the coin toss to open the ball game. High end over end kick, far sideline will be taken at about the 8-yard line. Being brought down at about the 31. It was B.J. Harvey with the kick return there for Baker. And Marcotte with the tackle there for Kansas Wesleyan on special teams. The Salina native played his high school football in Salina South. So Baker will have the football, 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line with 3:54 remaining here in the first half. Under center is Aganaga, hands it off to J.D. Woods, and he is met by a swarm of Wesleyan defenders, and leading the way there was Malachi Adams, the nose guard for Kansas Wesleyan.
Early on, Justin, in the first quarter, those first couple drives, Kansas Wesleyan almost seemed to be back on their heels a little bit. But these last 3 or 4 possessions in both directions, Kansas Wesleyan has looked very, very solid, Justin.
Yeah, it was actually Nigel Houston there, the ball carrier for Baker. All the same, it'll go as no gain. 2nd down and 10 to go. Aganaga from the shotgun, quick hitter to the near side. Great open field tackle by Kansas Wesleyan and Tevin Jones, as it was Sam Huckabee with the catch there for Baker. And we haven't really seen this Baker offense stretch the field yet here. They've gone with those quick hitters. They've been relying on the run game, but Kansas Wesleyan's been swarming to the football here as of late.
All their pass plays have gone out to the flat, Justin, and all their running plays have gone out the middle. They for their sake, they need to probably mix it up a little bit more up the field, down the middle with their passing plays.
3rd and 6 to go. Ball at the 34. Twins to the near sideline. It'll go far side of the field. There's that quick hitter once again. That one's going to result in a first down. The catch by Nate Pauley.
Nate Pauley making the stop for the Oaks, number 5, Rashad Broomfield.
It was Broomfield with the tackle for Kansas Wesleyan. But a great job by Pauley in picking up the first down and moving the chains there for Baker. That's something that they desperately need now, down 2 scores.
Well, I think Pauley there with more of a diagonal run, or his earlier attempts trying to run straight down the field weren't working out. A little more diagonal approach there.
Aganaga out of the gun. He'll hand it off to Nigel Houston, and Houston met by about 4 Kansas Wesleyan defenders on that one. Leading the charge was Jasper Chavez, the senior from Rosemead, California. Charles Barnes III was also there for Kansas Wesleyan, and it was all set up by the pressure there from Mr. Shaq Bradford, Mike.
Shaq Bradford dive in, force him to change his route. You gotta love that pursuit, Justin. He's just everywhere in that backfield.
That goes as a loss of 4 on the play, and the clock continuing to tick away, now under 1:40 left to go. 2nd and 14, out of the gun is Aganaga. Looks far side of the field, and it's incomplete. Huckabee tried to corral that one one-handedly, and it was definitely to his benefit to drop it there because Javon Codlin was all over that route for Kansas Wesleyan. So another 3rd and long coming up here for Baker. With 1:32 left to go, they still have all 3 timeouts at their disposal as well. We'll see what Kansas Wesleyan elects to do defensively. Do you bring pressure here? Do you drop back into coverage? We'll see what the Coyotes elect to do. 3rd and 14 to go. Out of the gun is Aganaga. Looks right. It's an RPO. The handoff up the gut, and you needed 14. The handoff to Houston got about half of that. And a 4th down situation coming up here for Baker. The tackle on the play by Javon Codlin will bring out the punting unit for Baker.
That brings up 4th down for the Wildcats in punt formation number 16.
Well, remember, Kansas Wesleyan gets the ball to start the second half. They're up 2 scores. I think they feel pretty comfortable with where they are now. They could have taken a timeout there to stop the clock. They elect not to. Fair catch called for and taken by Kansas Wesleyan. And Johnny Carmack. The Coyotes will have about 50 seconds left to go if they elect to do something here on the offensive side of the ball. They also have 2 timeouts left as well, Mike.
And you also know that you have a very good kicker in Juan Herrera. We've seen him be very consistent on his extra points, and maybe somehow you get a big play. And as you mentioned, you've got those 2 timeouts to work with. I think if you're Coach Hendrickson, maybe you're saying, okay, maybe I could have saved myself 30 seconds, but I need more options for my plays here.
Well, this first play will definitely dictate, I think, what they want to do here to close out the first quarter. It'll be out of the pistol for Johnny Photo. He'll give it off to DeMarco Pruitt. No one there on the left sideline. Pruitt barrels his way forward for a first down. The movement of the chains will stop the clock, and we will see the Coyotes go with the hurry-up offense here. So that play definitely set the tone. Coyotes have it 1st and 10 at their own 39. Photo out of the pistol, looking deep, looking for the big playmaker, and incomplete. Trying to find Stevie Williams. And it looked like the ball might have gone through his hands there. Pressure by Bryson Briggs in the defensive secondary there for Baker.
And on that first play there, Justin, DeMarco Pruitt, just a great run up his left. Really setting up this opportunity for Kansas Wesleyan to maybe get another 20, 30, about 30 yards here, make a possible field goal attempt.
Of course, Briggs had the big interception earlier on in this contest for Baker. That's really been one of the lone bright spots for this Wildcats defense here so far today. Photo out of the gun, looks deep far sideline of the go around. That one's incomplete as well, throwing into double coverage on the far sideline. It was Stevie Williams once again, the intended receiver there for Kansas Wesleyan. Well, they're going for the big haymaker, so to speak, down the field, but 2 straight incompletions have put the Coyotes in a 3rd and long situation here.
Well, what you like is that if you're throwing the ball that far down the field, even in the event of an interception, that creates such a long field for the opposition.
Trips to the near side. Photo will keep it himself off the RPO. Tried to shed 1 tackle, unable to do so. Great job there by Sam Squarlow, the leading tackler for the Wildcats this year. Photo picked up about 4. And it looks like both head coaches are going to be content on running out the clock here. And it looks like Photo might be a little bit shaken up here once again on the near sideline. And the Coyotes are going to have to take an injury timeout because of it. So that'll leave 2 seconds left on the game clock, and Photo once again not holding his hand this time, but is clearly in a little bit of duress here on the near sideline. Now you hate to see that to close out the half. He had that scare with the hand earlier on in this contest, responded very swiftly, And on a 3rd and long situation here to close out the contest, hopefully that's nothing major there for Kansas Wesleyan as well.
Well, especially when you're down to such little time left remaining in the first half, Justin. Those almost garbage play, garbage time there, sort of, so to speak, at the end of the half.
So with 2 seconds left to go, the offense will stay on the field. I wouldn't be shocked if they go with the quick pooch kick here from Photo, or maybe they even attempt a Hail Mary here. We'll get to see if Photo can show off the arm strength on this one. Ball at the 42. Baker bringing only 2 defenders up. Photo will indeed air it out along the far side. It's caught on the far sideline by Trenton Poe Evans, but he's going to come up just shy of the end zone. Oh, mercy. That would have been a huge deal breaker there for Baker, but they're able to hold Poe Evans out of the end zone to close out the half.
Well, what more can you say about Trenton Poe Evans there, Justin? Very nice throw by Johnny Photo, and oh, man, tough yards there at the end.
Yeah, they had about 58 yards or so to go to get into the end zone. Photo just puts up a prayer. There are about 3 defenders there for Baker. They lost containment of Poe Evans. He was wide open, and it was number 2 there for Baker, Grant Elston, with the touchdown-saving tackle to go to take us into the locker room here at the halftime break.
And Poe Evans was seen to be the only man down there at that end of the field that had an idea where that ball was coming.
21-7 your halftime score. Kansas Wesleyan on top of Baker, and we'll be right back with your halftime show after this.
Kansas Wesleyan University, where students are encouraged to get involved in the classroom and in the community, to explore academics and participate in activities, to learn and serve the community and to serve the world. It's what we call the power of and. It's a core value, our way of life, and our focus. While our athletes are champions, our academics make us the #1 university in Kansas to get a job after graduation. Kansas Wesleyan University Coyotes. This is the power of our pack.
Wesleyan University.
Kansas Wesleyan University, where students are encouraged to get involved in the classroom and in the community, to explore academics and participate in activities, to learn and serve the community and to serve the world. It's what we call the power of and. It's a core value, our way of life, and our focus. While our athletes are champions, our academics make us the #1 university in Kansas to get a job after graduation. Kansas Wesleyan University Coyotes. This is the power of our pack.
Welcome back to the Graves Family Sports Complex. I'm Justin Dean, now joined by the new athletic director here at Kansas Wesleyan University, Steve Wilson. Steve, thanks for taking some time out of your day here today.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about your decision-making process and coming back to Salina.
There was no decision-making process. This is home, but not only is it home, Kansas Wesleyan is an elite job. It's one of the best athletic director positions in college sports. The facilities, this behind us, the arena across the street, and just the culture of this institution, it's the easiest decision I've had to make in a long time.
You talk about those local roots coming back now to the program. Is that going to help with the fundraising process here at the university?
I'm sure it will. It's all relationships, and I've got a lot of good friends in this town. But things are already in a pretty good place. So, I don't know that helps it, hinders it, but I do have a lot of friends in this town.
Obviously, there's already a good nucleus here at the university. If and when the time comes, what do you look for in an ideal head coach?
Oh, man, I don't want to think about that. I want Myers Hendrickson. That's who I want. So we're going to not think about that one.
Looking at the game today, hosting Baker here at the Graves Family Sports Complex, second straight year that Kansas Wesleyan has hosted an NAIA playoff game. Great crowd on hand. Talk to us a little bit about that as well.
The NAIA, we'll say they did us a favor in sending us Baker in terms of filling this stadium. It's also, I think, the toughest draw for a home team. This is a very good team that we're seeing on the other side. I like our team. I like our chances.
Taking over for Mike Herman, of course, he was the athletic director here for the last couple of years. We talked about that good nucleus already being in place. What's kind of your vision for the athletic department over the next several years?
We need to continue it. We need to continue to grow, and we need to make sure we're elite. We need to make sure this is the best student-athlete experience in the state of Kansas, in the region, in the country. At this level, the goal is to ensure that your student-athletes come out of here a better person. They come out of here ready for life, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Well, Steve, I know you're a busy man today. Thanks for taking some time with us today, and enjoy the game.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That was Steve Wilson, the athletic director here at Kansas Wesleyan University. We'll be back after this.
Kansas Wesleyan University, where students are encouraged to get involved in the classroom and in the community, to explore academics and participate in activities, to learn and serve the community and to serve the world. It's what we call the power of and. It's a core value, our way of life, and our focus. While our athletes are champions, our academics make us the #1 university in Kansas to get a job after graduation. Kansas Wesleyan University Coyotes. This is the power of our pack.
And welcome back to Gene Bissell Field on the campus of Kansas Wesleyan University. We are at the halftime in round one of the 2019 NAIA Football Championship Series. It's the hometown Coyotes with a 21-7 lead at the break over the visiting Baker Wildcats. Justin Dean and Michael Tate back with you in the booth here. And Well, Michael, what a thrilling first half for Kansas Wesleyan. Got out of the gates a little bit slow, but they really rebounded in that second quarter to the tune of 21 unanswered points.
Absolutely, Justin. I think we saw a lot of energy come into this stadium thanks to the effective tackling of the defense. Of course, on their first couple of drives, Baker had a few nice completions, but Kansas Wesleyan's containment was really, really excellent.
Well, you take a look at the scoring drives in this first half for Kansas Wesleyan. As we mentioned, the offense started a little bit shaky. Johnny Photo threw an interception to begin the contest for Kansas Wesleyan. J.D. Woods would take a 23-yard touchdown run into the end zone for our first score of the game about 5 minutes in. It wasn't until early on in the second quarter that Kansas Wesleyan finally found their stride offensively. And it's been a really balanced attack here for the Coyotes as well. The run game got involved with DeMarco Pruitt, and that set up that deep passing attack for Kansas Wesleyan, as we saw in a number of plays.
Absolutely. DeMarco Pruitt getting a lot of very, very tough yards, Justin. Not necessarily, he has a couple of gains of 9 or 10 yards, but for the most part, it's 1, 2, 3 yards here. But just, we mentioned it several times, just tough running for him, keeping that balanced attack, keeping Baker guessing.
So Johnny Photo found Richard McCauley to begin the second quarter of action. That tied up the contest at 7-all. Flato to McCauley for a 13-yard scamper. Pruitt was able to get into the end zone from 2 yards out with 7:03 remaining in the first half. And then Johnny Photo found Stevie Williams from 23 yards out with just under 4 minutes left to go before the break, as Kansas Wesleyan has the lead here at the halftime break, 21-7. We're going to take another quick break here. When we come back, we'll have your first half scoring and statistics for you. You're listening to Kansas Wesleyan Football.
Kansas Wesleyan University, where students are encouraged to get involved in the classroom and in the community, to explore academics and participate in activities, to learn and serve the community and to serve the world. It's what we call the power of and. It's a core value, our way of life, and our focus. While our athletes are champions, our academics make us the #1 university in Kansas to get a job after graduation. Kansas Wesleyan University Coyotes. This is the power of our pack.
And welcome back to Gene Bissell Field once again. 21-7, your halftime score. Kansas Wesleyan on top of Baker. We take a look at your first half scoring and statistics. A slow start to this game for Kansas Wesleyan offensively, but they responded with authority. 325 total yards of offense in that first half for Kansas Wesleyan. Only 121 total yards of offense for Baker in the first half. 239 through the air and 86 on the ground for the Coyotes. 85 passing and 36 rushing for the Baker Wildcats in the first half. Individual statistics in half number one, DeMarco Pruitt, your leading rusher for the Coyotes. He had 14 carries for 50 yards, had the lone rushing touchdown as well for Kansas Wesleyan. Quarterback Johnny Photo, 10 of 19 through the air for 239 total yards of offense. He had 2 touchdowns, the 1 pick early on as well. And 2 wide receivers for the Yotes, already over 100 yards in receiving offense. Trayton Poe Evans with 5 catches for $122, and Stevie Williams has 4 for a $1.04. For the Wildcats, J.D. Woods, the leading rusher here at the halftime break. For the Wildcats, 7 carries for 31 yards. He has the lone touchdown of the contest for Baker as well. Quarterback Marco Aganaga, 9 of 17 through the air for 85 total yards. Leading receiver is Sam Huckabee, 5 catches for 63 yards. Defensively, both teams have been efficient, but it's been Kansas Wesleyan that has been the most efficient of the two teams. Warren Singletary, your leading tackler at the break for Kansas Wesleyan with 5 total tackles. 3 apiece for Dakota Anderson, Rashawn Broomfield, and Charles Barnes III as well. For Baker, they're led by Sam Squarlow. He has 9 tackles here in the first half for Baker. I'll bring Michael Tate back on board, and an entertaining first half. Needless to say here for Kansas Wesleyan. Michael, what are your keys here for the second half for the Coyotes?
Well, I think that Kansas Wesleyan has done a very nice job of responding to the early attack by Baker. And when you mentioned, Justin, that big turnover early in the score, but other than that, not a lot happened. That second quarter really dominated by Kansas Wesleyan. In the first half, you saw Johnny Foto really lead the way with those runs early when nothing was doing offensively, and Trenton Poe Evans, as you mentioned, well over 100 yards. If you look to that second half, I think continuing to find opportunities for those other receivers, I think that Baker's probably going to have to key on Trenton Poe Evans' ability to get himself open and make tough catches. And with Stevie Williams, those big catches as well, get those huge gainers. And I think it's going to force Baker to have to key on those guys, and we'll see some other players step up defensively. Warren Singletary, just love his pursuit, leading the way and getting those tackles. We've seen the defense really pursue well, and I think we look to see that continue for Kansas Wesleyan.
Well, there's a reason that Kansas Wesleyan has one of the best offenses in the NAIA. It was on showcase in the second quarter. The Coyotes lead at 21-7 here at the halftime break. Some other scores in the 2019 NAIA Football Championship Series. Again, this is the first of many rounds. Dickinson State at 8-2 from North Dakota. They trail Morningside, Iowa at the halftime break by a score of 30-7. Marion, Indiana leading Reinhardt, Georgia at the halftime break 10-7. Concordia out of Michigan, they're up at halftime 17-10 over Grandview, Iowa. The College of Idaho up 7-0 at the halftime break over Ottawa University out of Arizona. St. Francis, Indiana 16-14 your halftime score there as they lead Lindsey Wilson. Cumberland's Kentucky and Kaiser, Florida. We do not have a score of that contest yet. And at the halftime break, St. Xavier, Illinois leading Northwestern out of Iowa by a score of 10-6. Those are your halftime scores in round 1 of the NAIA Football Championship Series. Of course, we won't know the quarterfinal matchups until later tonight. But we will take another quick break. Wesleyan on top, 21-7. We'll have your second half of action right after this.
Kansas Wesleyan University, where students are encouraged to get involved in the classroom and in the community, to explore academics and participate in activities, to learn and serve the community and to serve the world. It's what we call the power of and. It's a core value, our way of life, and our focus. While our athletes are champions, our academics make us the #1 university in Kansas to get a job after graduation. Kansas Wesleyan University Coyotes. This is the power of our pack.
(21-7) your score as we get ready to start the second half of action from the Graves Family Sports Complex. Gene Bissell Field here in Salina, Kansas. The hometown team, Kansas Wesleyan Coyotes, leading the Baker University Wildcats here at the break by a score of 21-7. I'm Justin Dean. He's Michael Tate. We talked about the slow start to this game by Kansas Wesleyan offensively, the early interception thrown by Johnny Photo, but this defense responded with authority. I think the offense fed off that defense's energy to the tune of 21 unanswered points in the second quarter. That's where we are here as we get ready to start the third.
Absolutely. I keep mentioning Justin, but it really does bear repeating the pursuit by the Kansas Wesleyan defense of really with just one or two minor exceptions really containing Baker. And we want to thank all of you for being online and watching Kansas Wesleyan today. All of you alumni that are out there, alumni and Kansas Wesleyan fans all around the world. We appreciate you being part of this broadcast today and joining us, and we're just really having a great time here today, Justin.
Talk about the defense. This is a Baker team that came into today's contest in the top 10 total rushing offense in the NAIA conference. This Wesleyan defense has held them to only 36 yards on the ground here so far in the first half. We've talked about the pursuit from the Defensive Player of the Year and Shaq Bradford. This linebacking core has just been swarming to the football here today. Singletary, Chavez, Barnes the third. We've been calling their names here a lot. They're going to need to keep up that defensive mentality, that momentum here coming into the second half.
Absolutely. They're getting a great push into the backfield. They're not letting the running backs go where they want to go. You mentioned that Baker has that dual running back attack of J.D. Woods and Justin Howard, but there's really just not been space for them to execute, having to change their mind constantly. And you mentioned Shaq Bradford's name. We've seen him do a lot of great pursuing, not the tackling stats as of yet, but he's sure forcing those running backs to go other routes than what they wanted to go.
So Wesleyan, again, they won the coin toss to begin the contest. They deferred here to the second half, so they will have the football to begin half number 2. Ethan Barnard will be set to kick it away for Baker. Would like to see a long drive here for Kansas Wesleyan. Both teams have that mentality of the quick attacking, but with a 2-score lead here, keep momentum on their side, really try to drain the defense here. We'll see what the Coyotes do to begin the second half. Kickoff is away by Barnard. Short end-over-end kick will bounce at about the 15. And tackled right about where he picked up the football was Quincy Sandoval, the freshman, standing at 5'8". He's averaging about 27 yards per kickoff return, but we've seen both special teams units really struggle here today. Maybe with the placement of the sun with the noon kickoff, that's about the only thing I can think of, Michael.
Absolutely, Justin. There really haven't been any returns to speak of, with one nice 20-yard punt return, I believe, for Baker. But other than that, nothing really doing.
So the Coyotes will have their first possession of the second half from their own 12-yard line. Out of the pistol will be Johnny Photo. Fakes the handoff to Pruitt, rolls near side, hits his superback Roy Sanders in stride. The junior from Sacramento picks up about 3 yards there on first down.
Well, I love that they've been going to Roy Sanders, Justin. We mentioned a number of times in that first half. He was the motion man, trying to make other plays happen for other guys, and him making the nice catch and getting a few tough yards to start off this drive.
Well, the junior, I believe that was his first catch of the season. He had 7 rushes coming into today's contest, but the big man showing off the soft hands there. 2nd and 7, handoff to Pruitt, right side. He'll fight his way forward to about the 20-yard line. Another gain of 3 here. will set up a 3rd and 2 situation for Kansas Wesleyan.
Justin, you mentioned that Kansas Wesleyan's offense is very quick striking, can be, and I think we see that played out in the time of possession. Despite the offensive dominance by Kansas Wesleyan in the second quarter, time of possession is really pretty even in that first half.
Yeah, 2 big chunk plays here to set up 3rd and short. Johnny Photo will take his time getting the play call here from the near sideline. It's a 4 wide receiver set. He'll have his tailback DeMarco Pruitt to his right hip. From the gun, Photo looks downfield. Quick hitter finds Richard McCauley. He'll make 2 men miss. Still on his feet fighting for yardage. Will be brought down at about the 32-yard line. But we saw Stevie Williams and his elusiveness in the first half. Start the second half, Richard McCauley wants in on the action as well.
And you got to love the play calling here on this first drive here for Kansas Wesleyan in the second half, Justin. We had 2 big receivers in that first half, but so far they haven't even been thrown at. Kansas Wesleyan mixing it up.
And McCauley made the linebacker John Rincon whiff in space and was able to pick up about 5 yards after the catch there to move the chains for Kansas Wesleyan. They have it at their own 32, just underway to start the second half. It'll be a handoff to Pruitt, left side, and he will fall forward to about the 37-yard line. Nothing fancy, but picks up 5 yards in the process. And we talked about Pruitt's success in the first half. He had 14 first half carries for 50 yards, right about his season average of 4.5, and he picks up 5 here on first down. Ball at the 37, it'll be 2nd down and 5 to go. Coyotes moving the football here to begin the second half of action. Out of the pistol is Johnny Photo. It'll go to Pruitt once again. Nobody there in open space, and Pruitt makes them pay into Baker territory, brought down at the 40-yard line. You could have put a Mack truck through that hole. Huge gainer there for Pruitt.
Well, we were wondering, Justin, in that first half when all those tough runs would start to pay dividends, and that may be what we're seeing right now, Justin. All those tough runs, maybe they're wearing down the defensive front of Baker a little bit.
He went straight through the A gap between left guard and center. 23-yard gainer there for Pruitt. Gets the Coyotes into Wildcat territory. Ball at the 40. Pruitt takes it again. Will test his luck to the right side. Baker will bottle him up on the play. Still another gain of 4, but this is where we saw Kansas Wesleyan have success after they sputtered out of the gate. They got the run game involved, and we're seeing that here to begin the second half as well.
And early on, those runs weren't producing a lot, but it was keeping Baker's defense wondering what was coming, and with DeMarco Pruitt just showing some tremendous toughness here, Justin, on this first drive.
And this is what we wanted out of the Wesleyan offense to begin this second half. Elongated drive, take some time off the clock. We're well into 4 minutes on the drive here. 2nd down and 6. Pruitt will take the handoff once again. Barrels over the first defender. Actually, that was Roy Sanders there with the carry for Kansas Wesleyan. The big man gets involved, tries to move the chains once again. Oh, no, it actually was Pruitt. So, yeah, Pruitt once again. You see him there, just use the stiff arm, takes the defender to the ground, falls forward. Was very close to moving the chains, but will set up a 3rd and short.
And you mentioned it, Justin, that 3rd and short, once again, those first 2 plays setting up, really opening up the playbook.
Out of the pistol is Johnny Photo. He will give it to his tailback, and Pruitt with the spin move is able to get past the marker, moves the chains, picks up the first down, keeps this drive alive for Kansas Wesleyan. And boy, they look absolutely unstoppable on the ground here to begin the second half.
Someone get that man a protein shake. He's got a lot of work left to do this half, Justin.
Big reason why he was KCAC Offensive Player of the Year. The school's all-time leading rusher. He broke that record earlier on in the season and has had quite the success here today as well. 1st and 10, Photo. He'll look deep, has a man open, and it's caught by Stevie Williams. Touchdown, Kansas Wesleyan. Beautiful go round along the near sideline. 31 yards to pay dirt for Stevie Williams. And there's that big playmaking ability on cue there for Kansas Wesleyan as they take a 3-score lead.
Run, 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 run. And oh, by the way, you can't stop Stevie Williams.
Well, they fake the handoff to Pruitt. And as I mentioned, just a go route here on the near side. Williams had 2 steps on the defender and Bryson Briggs. Briggs had that interception early on, but he's been picked on here as of lately, and it looked like Williams might have hit the ropes at the end of that catch as he came up favoring the shoulder area. Extra point is up and good by Juan Herrera, and we'll have to monitor that situation as well. But Kansas Wesleyan comes out of the gates roaring as they build their lead now to 28-7 with 10-12 left to go in the third quarter. Well, Williams went over 100 yards receiving in that first half, and right on cue to begin half number 2, the big playmaking ability right there for Stevie Williams, and hopefully he's okay after hitting the ropes at the end.
Absolutely, Justin. And you called it that play fake. They haven't used it much. It's just been Pruitt, coming at you. And Baker just was not expecting that pass play.
Yeah, they ran it at the perfect time. Defense thought run. They go play action with the pass, deep fade route, and Kansas Wesleyan makes them pay to the tune of a 31-yard touchdown reception to Stevie Williams. Coyotes up 28-7, and Baker's got to be at a loss here. We talked about them coming out of the Heart of America Athletic Conference. They play such a tough schedule, but my goodness, this is probably the first time they've trailed by 3 possessions in any game this season. Herrera will kick it away. Long end-over-end kick will go into the end zone for the touchback. And we'll see if Baker has the counter here to begin the second half, now trailing by 3 scores.
We will, Justin. But I tell you what, just sitting here watching this game, I'm excited to see Kansas Wesleyan's defense back out on the field. They're just a joy to watch. One guy goes after the initial tackle, and even if he doesn't get to bring the man down, there's 3 other Coyotes going after that ball carrier. Just absolute great team effort of tackling and holding Baker to short yardage gains.
Well, this is a Wesleyan defense that only gives up about 270 yards per contest on the season. They held Baker to 121 in half number 1. Wildcats take over at their own 25. Out of the pistol is Aganaga, and he will be swallowed up in the backfield. Shaq Bradford came away with the football. The officials are they going to talk about that, or are they going to mark him down? Shaq Bradford will be credited with the sack. Let's see if the football comes out here. Bradford gets right around the right tackle, swallows up the quarterback, and now it looked like Aganaga's knee was down before the ball came out, but it was only a matter of time before Bradford was going to come away with the sack. He's able to do so here, the first defensive possession for Kansas Wesleyan of the second half.
Shaq Bradford says, I might as well have the ball. I'm dominating this backfield.
Loss of 2 on the play. It'll be second down and 12. Out of the gun is Aganaga. 3-step drop, forces it to the far side of the field, and a great job in pursuit there. I believe it was Scott Helsper who got over there in containment, and then it was Javon Codlin who was able to finish it off there for Kansas Wesleyan, as well as Charles Barnes III. And you look here, there's no one there for Kansas Wesleyan. Barnes comes over, takes away the sideline, and then he's able to finish off the receiver on the play as well.
And once again, we see pressure in the backfield. Not a great throw from Aganaga, a little low, did not allow the play to develop. Great play by the backfield and by the line.
This Wesleyan defensive front has done a good job in getting to Aganaga, making him uncomfortable in the pocket. 3rd and long to go, 8 yards to move the chains. Coyotes up 28-7. Quick hitter near side. There is nowhere to go. It was Scott Helsper with the tackle on the near sideline. Pass complete to Nate Pauley, but we're seeing the same looks offensively here for Baker. Wesleyan was able to figure it out in that second quarter, and they are all over that play from the get-go here as well.
And it really was a good team effort tackling there. Pauly doing his best to make something out of nothing. They were almost made it to the sticks, but Kansas Wesleyan shutting it down. Charles
Barnes and Scott Helsper all over that play. Picked up only 2, and a 3-and-out here for Baker once again. They will go into punting formation. Johnny Carmack will be back to field this punt for Kansas Wesleyan. It's a it's a fake, but Wesleyan sniffs that one out. Absolutely nothing doing there. And Kansas Wesleyan will take over on downs with a huge heads-up play there for the Yotes. And guess who it was? The Salina native, Jacob Marcotte there, sniffing that one out. Baker tried to get a little bit fancy with it, and Kansas Wesleyan was having none of it.
Well, Kansas Wesleyan having built up this big lead, I think Baker is just thinking we got to try something to just shake off this momentum of Kansas Wesleyan. Didn't work out that way, did it, Justin?
Oh, absolutely not. You can't fault them trying to do something a little bit different out of their comfort zone, but the Coyotes were there from the get-go, and Pruitt here on first down keeps the legs churning. Looked like he was going to be brought down in the backfield for a loss, but able to keep his forward momentum going and gets a substantial gain there on first down.
Absolutely, that tough yardage there. Here we see him approaching, and should have gone down there, stayed upright.
He's got so much strength in his lower core, just as I mentioned, keeps the legs churning. What could have been a 2-yard loss ends up in a 5-yard gain. 2nd and 5 for the Coyotes. They'll go pistol set here with Fuedo. Fuedo hands it off to Pruitt. Pruitt barreling through, uses the stiff arm and is brought down at about the 10-yard line. And that man is hungry, and he comes up gimp at the end of the play, though. Looks like he's favoring that left hamstring. See if we can see it here on the play. Just hits that B gap, and right toward the end of the play there, it looked like he went gimp at the left leg, and hopefully he's able to walk that one off as he's going to come off here and see the training staff on the near sideline.
Get that man on a bicycle, let him loosen it up. Much more work to be done, Justin.
Fuedo will take over. It's 1st down and 10 to go. Ball at the 11. Handoff will go up the gut. That's Brandon Lowe, the 5'7 senior from Collinsville, Oklahoma, as he's going to spell DeMarco Pruitt here. But this is such a senior-laden team in Kansas Wesleyan as well. They had 29 seniors on the roster this year. 19 of them made the playoff roster, and we're seeing another one here in Brandon Lowe. Lowe might have gotten about a half-yard there. They'll keep the ball on the 11. 2nd and 10 to go, 6:45 to go, 3rd quarter. Wesleyan leading at 28-7. Fuedo out of the pistol. Fakes it right. He's going to take it up the gut. No one there defensively. Spin move, and Fuedo's going to be brought down at around the 5-yard line. Good recognition. The defensive backfield doing a good job in holding containment of the receivers, and Fuedo takes what's given to him.
Absolutely. And those, as we know, Justin, those are tough yards here in the red zone. And just absolutely, look at this toughness right here, holding on to the ball. I absolutely love the way that Kansas Wesleyan, with the exception of that early interception, has really done a good job protecting the possession of the football.
Yeah, we talked about them winning the time of possession battle in that first half. It seems like they've held the ball the entire second half here so far, minus those 3 plays from Baker. They'll have 4 yards to go here to move the chains, with under 6 minutes left to go in the third. Fuedo with the handoff to Lowe, and Lowe tests the left side. I don't think he's going to have enough for the first down. Well, we saw this earlier on in the contest, about 2 yards to go for the first for Kansas Wesleyan. They kept the offense on the field. They were able to get 6 on that drive. What will Coach Myers-Hendrickson do here? Will the offense stay on the field? And it appears they're going to.
And that was the time where we had that pass interference call with Trenton Poe Evans, Justin, just forcing the defense to make some kind of a decision under duress.
DeMarco Pruitt still getting that left hamstring looked at here over on the near sideline. That changes a little bit what this offense can do here on a 4th down and short situation. Fuedo will bring a man in motion. That's Richard McCauley. They'll roll to the far side. McCauley's there, wide open. He has it. Touchdown, Kansas Wesleyan. No one there defensively for Baker. The Yotes make him pay from 4 yards out. McCauley with the score, his 2nd of the contest.
Well, and you love those short first down yardage and possible touchdown situations, Justin. You just have so many options as a play caller. Kansas Wesleyan has that threat of getting the first down at about the 2-3 yard line. And, hey, look, we're getting a touchdown anyway. We'll take it.
Well, they brought McCauley in motion from the near to the far sideline. The defensive back didn't follow it. That left McCauley wide open, the easiest 6 he's probably seen all year. And now a 4-score lead for Kansas Wesleyan. Unstoppable since the 2nd quarter of action. Extra point on its way is up and good by Herrera. And Kansas Wesleyan continuing to pour it on here today at home against Baker. 5:10 to go in the third. The Coyotes lead the Wildcats 35-7. That's now 35 unanswered points for Kansas Wesleyan. They had 21 in the 2nd quarter and a quick 14 here in quarter number 3.
Really, Justin, it's almost surprising Baker's not more a part of this game with the tough schedule they've played against all the ranked opponents, and Kansas Wesleyan really just imposing its will. You look at just the dominant record that this team has had at home over the last 5 or 6 years, and they really, the seniors mentioned, Johnny Fuedo mentioned, they're very excited to be playing here at the Graves Family Sports Complex, Gene Bissell Field. Just a great Kansas Wesleyan crowd here, and turning into a bit of a romp, Justin. We'll see how Baker responds.
You know, this is a perennial NAIA powerhouse, tradition-rich program in Baker as well. They're 5-0 on the road this year. They won 7 in a row to close out the regular season, 3 of those against top 25 ranked teams in the nation. But for some reason here today in Salina, it has not been the same Wildcats team as they were in the regular season. As you mentioned, the Coyotes continue to pour it on now, leading 35-7. Short spinning kick will be taken at about the 5-yard line and returned out to the 27. It was Nate Pauley there with the return for Baker. Tackled on the play by Dylan Heck, the senior from Cheney, Kansas.
It's interesting, Justin, as we reflect on all the yards that Kansas Wesleyan has gained. You mentioned not a lot of return opportunities due to the sunlight here. Hard for the return men to pick up the ball, but it's just made for a longer field for Kansas Wesleyan. But that's led to them winning the time of possession battle. It's led to us getting to enjoy DeMarco Pruitt tough running.
And hopefully he's able to come out. Hopefully he's got that hamstring situated here. But all the same, Baker will take over on offense at their own 28. Just over 5 minutes to go in the third. Be a swing pass to the far sideline completed to Nigel Houston. The freshman from Kansas City will pick up about 5 there on first down. Jasper Chavez with the tackle there for Kansas Wesleyan. We mentioned the senior latency for this Kansas Wesleyan team. This is a relatively young Baker squad, though, only a handful of seniors on the roster. Of course, Kansas Wesleyan made it all the way to the semifinals in the NAIA playoffs last year. Baker made it to the quarterfinals. They have been in the quarterfinals the last 6 years, but that streak is in danger. A second down pitch to the far side to Nigel Houston was going absolutely nowhere. Charles Barnes III, we have called his name early and often here today. He's in there to make a big stop for Kansas Wesleyan. Houston didn't have a chance. Barnes just throws him to the turf at about the 19.
Just right there. Got it. Just great play by Charles. Just standing there and just staying upright and staying balanced, not letting the man break free.
That's a 7-yard loss. We'll bring up a 3rd and long here for Baker. 13 yards to go to get the first down. And a quick dump off. There is nothing doing there either. It's Charles Barnes III once again. Baker has just refused to stretch the field here. They're trying to dink and dunk this Kansas Wesleyan defense, but the Coyotes are doing a good job in containment on that short passing route. Just nothing happening there. It's Charles Barnes III and Warren Singletary with the gang tackle there for the Coyotes, and yet another 3 and out for this Baker offense. They look lost out on the field here today. Punt is away by Saunders. Fielded at the 46 by Johnny Carmack. Took a little stutter step and brought it back to the near side and gets it into Baker territory.
Well, I think Carmack deceived the coverage team for Baker. He stopped as if he were making a fair catch, but he had never called for it.
Yeah, number 14, the defender there for Baker. He was just standing there watching the play and then just watch Carmack go by here to the near sideline. Could have been no gain, but Carmack gets about 7 or 8 off the punt return. And the Coyotes will set up shop in Baker territory with a short field to work with.
Well, Justin, you mentioned several times there's perhaps a bit of a experience disparity here because Kansas Wesleyan is just doing all these little subtle things, head fakes, shimmy moves, deception there on the return. Just a lot of things that maybe won't show up in the box score that they're doing well.
Handoff will come to the near sideline on 1st and 10. It'll be Quincy Sandoval, the 5'7" freshman from Salt Lake City, getting his first carry of the ball game. We may have seen the last of DeMarco Pruitt here in this one. Leading by 4 scores, Pruitt came up limp at the end of the last possession with that hamstring injury, and we'll try to get an update on that, but good first down carry there by the freshman. Will set up a 2nd down and 9. Out of the pistol is Johnny Photo. He will give it off to his tailback once again, and great open field speed there by Quincy Sandoval as he moves the chains and picks up the first down. Well, we had the thunder earlier in DeMarco Pruitt. Perhaps we're seeing the lightning now in Quincy Sandoval.
Well, Quincy Sandoval, Justin, out of Salt Lake City, Utah, East High School. He's majoring in fitness and wellness, and I tell you what, that was a very fit and well run right there.
Yeah, put on a clinic, so to speak. 15-yard gain off the right side. 1st and 10 for the Coyotes. Ball at the Baker 36-yard line. They want to look to add to their lead. Sandoval now to the right side. Is pinballed around and brought down at the original line of scrimmage. Well, the depth really on display here now for Kansas Wesleyan. We saw Brandon Lowe the previous drive with the injury to DeMarco Pruitt, and we're seeing Sandoval try to establish himself in the backfield here.
And again, Justin, you see Baker trying to knock the ball out, trying to do something to help turn this game around for themselves, but Sandoval just protecting the ball very, very nicely. He recognized there's nothing doing, protect the possession. Great discipline.
And that's exactly what Wesleyan needs to do here. Just protect the football. Well in control of this contest. Sandoval once again to the right side. Ball came loose at the end, but he was already down by contact. And you like the play calling here from Myers Hendrickson. You don't have to be too cute. This game is well in control, up 35-7. As you mentioned, controlling the rock and not putting it on the turf is going to be at a premium here on this drive.
Well, it's a nice balance, I think, between aggressiveness and you want to get those first downs to keep that clock moving, so you don't want to get too conservative, but really just nice balance.
3rd and long to go. Out of the gun, Photo surveys the field, rolls to the left side, will keep it himself, still moving. Is going to be brought down at around the 30-yard line, well short of the line to gain. And decision-making time here for Coach Hendrickson. They will have to run one more play here, I believe, before the conclusion of the 3rd quarter. About 5 yards to go to move the chains. The offense will stay on the field. So out of the pistol, we'll see what Photo can do here on 4th down. And went with the hard count, tried to get the defense to jump off sides there. We'll see if he does so here once again. He'll take the snap this time. Great block on the left side. Photo able to keep the play alive. He's going to keep it himself. Great pivot move there. Spins brought down at the 18-yard line. Late flag at the end of the play as well. It will be a 1st down pending the flag, but that was a great job by the left tackle, Eli Smith, with the pancake block to allow Photo to get out of the pocket and look upfield. We'll see what the flag is, though. It's going to be a personal foul on Baker. So tack on another 15, and the Coyotes will have a 1st down as well. And here you see the block by 55, Eli Smith. He takes the defender out of the picture and allows Photo to scramble here to the near side.
Well, just great work. Both Kansas Wesleyan lines here today, Justin. Just really getting that push, really dominating this game physically.
A battle that's won in the trenches, and at the end of 3, Wesleyan is winning that battle. They're on top of Baker by a score of 35-7. We'll be back with the 4th quarter right after this break. Back for the 4th quarter of action from Gene Bissell Field here on the campus of Kansas Wesleyan University. The Coyotes well in control here, leading 35-7 over Baker University. And, well, Michael, a 3rd quarter where Kansas Wesleyan really won the time of possession battle. It didn't feel like the Baker offense even took the field there in quarter number 3.
No, just running plays. That the first 7 minutes of the quarter were the DeMarco Pruitt show, and Unfortunately, we're a bit worried about DeMarco Pruitt as far as from an injury standpoint, but man, just what you love there is the alertness of Johnny Photo on that last play, just doing the running play to keep the clock moving.
First play of the fourth quarter will be a run play for Kansas Wesleyan right side. As it goes to Quincy Sandoval once again. It's been the Quincy Sandoval show since the injury to DeMarco Pruitt. A great job there getting between the right guard and right tackle to keep the legs turning and pick up about 4 yards there on first down.
And Quincy showing us he was ready to go when his name was called, Justin.
We talked about the time of possession battle. Kansas Wesleyan in no hurry here. Can really take their time and take as much time off the play clock as allowed. Out of the pistol, 2nd and goal to go from the 4-yard line. Fake handoff to Sandoval, looks near side, pass is incomplete. Looking for Richard McCauley here on the near sideline. McCauley had the touchdown reception the previous possession for Kansas Wesleyan. They tried to go back to the well and just too much under that pass from quarterback Johnny Photo.
And we've seen from Johnny Photo on a couple of touchdown passes a really nice ability to throw with accuracy on those diagonal angles.
Photo 14 of 24 on the day, approaching 300 yards passing. Already has 4 passing touchdowns in this contest as well. He'll have the ball here, 3rd and goal to go from the 4-yard line. Looks left, feeds it middle of the field, and it's caught wide open. Touchdown, Kansas Wesleyan. That man did it once again. It's Richard McCauley on back-to-back possessions for the Coyotes, finding pay dirt. He has had quite the ball game. Really, all the receivers here for Kansas Wesleyan, they have the game. I believe Williams, McCauley, and Poe Evans now all over 100 yards receiving on the game.
Which, of course, mathematically means that our quarterback, Johnny Photo, is over 300 yards, just having a terrific day. We mentioned early on Baker was going to try to contain him and make him uncomfortable. That has not been the case since his near injury.
Absolutely not. And correction, that was actually McCauley's 3rd receiving touchdown of the contest. Extra point up. No doubt about it. That one's good as well, and the Coyotes continue to tack on to their lead now, up 42-7. Well, on paper, this looked like a pretty even matchup between Baker and Kansas Wesleyan, but as you mentioned, since the conclusion of that first quarter, the Coyotes have taken Lady momentum, and they've been able to run with it.
Absolutely. I made a brief allusion there, Justin, to a near injury Johnny Photo. We saw him go down and get sacked late in the first quarter, and he came up. We were a bit worried about his hand, but ever since then, the offensive line for Kansas Wesleyan has really just done a terrific job of protecting him.
Yeah, we haven't given them enough credit. Eli Smith, Daniel Fletcher, Alex Gutierrez, Darius Brown, and Morton Santora. But they've done a good job in keeping their quarterback Johnny Photo upright since that first quarter. That really might have been a wake-up call for this entire offense. Oh, we might lose our senior leader, our signal caller, as you will, and they've responded in a big way to the answer of 42 now unanswered points by this Kansas Wesleyan offensive attack, showing why they're one of the top scoring teams in the nation. They have been absolutely relentless here since the second quarter of action. Herrera's kickoff, deep end-over-end kick will bounce at about the 10, fielded at the 8. Far sideline return. Paulie's able to break free before being forced out of bounds. Best return of the contest for either team, and maybe a wake-up call here for Baker offensively. The shortest field they've had to work with since the first quarter of play.
Only about 55 yards from where they're going to be starting to the end zone, so a bit shorter field. But as you mentioned, Justin, on Baker's last drive, not a lot of variety. It's either passes to the flat or trying to run up the middle, and Kansas Wesleyan's been stuffing pretty much everything.
Well, trailing now by 35, one can assume, it's probably a little too late to make a comeback here today. Maybe open up the playbook, though. Give something for Wesleyan to think about, but we'll see what they elect to do here on their first drive of the fourth quarter. 1st and 10 Baker, ball at the 40. Pistol set. Aganaga looks over the middle of the field and just nothing there. Maybe some miscommunication. He was looking for his tight end Dennis Russell on the far sideline, and Russell came in, ball went out, pass goes incomplete. Now, since that first quarter, this offense just has not been on the same page for Baker, for whatever reason. Also a testament to how strong this Wesleyan defense has played here today as well. 2nd down, bubble screen will come to the near side. Paulie tried to juke the defender. And we'll have a late flag after the play. I think they're going to get Charles Barnes there with the face mask for Kansas Wesleyan.
Well, that's unfortunate, Justin, because Tevin Jones really did an excellent job of containing there. Would not let his blocker push him where he was wanting him to go and just really force that short gain.
And yeah, indeed, it will be a face mask on Kansas Wesleyan, so that'll be a free first down for Baker. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's their first down here of the second half. There you see the bubble screen to Pauly. So he breaks it to the near sideline. Oh no, it was actually Tevin Jones there with the face mask. You see him at the end there trying to put up his hands. I didn't do anything wrong, official, but the official not having anything of that. And a first down here for the Wildcats. They're into Wesleyan territory, ball at the 40. Pistol set. Aganaga in trouble in the pocket. Will throw it deep down the field, and wow, a one-handed catch on the far sideline. Pretty catch by the receiver, and I believe that was his favorite target of the day. Indeed it was. Sam Huckabee, showing why he was a first-team Heart of America Athletic Conference nominee here with this pretty catch here along the far side.
Ball's a bit underthrown there, Justin, and Huckabee, throwing a little bit behind him. Huckabee making a terrific adjustment, as you mentioned.
It looked like Scott Helsper, the strong safety, just lost containment there of his assignment. Now a first and goal for Baker. Carry up the gut will go to J.D. Woods. And he will be held short of the end zone. Well, really the first time since the first quarter that this Wesleyan defense has had their backs up against the wall. Let's see how they respond here. Second and goal. Wildcat ball at the 4. I formation for the Wildcats. First time we've seen that look from them here today. Aganaga with the fade route into the back corner of the end zone. That pass is incomplete. He was looking for Sam Huckabee once again. Coverage on the play by Tevin Jones.
And absolutely, Justin, this is 4-down territory if you're Baker, down by as much as you are. You're playing for your pride, you're playing for your season. So if you're Kansas Wesleyan, you're of course, this excellent discipline here, you're aware of that. So you're containing on both plays. You have that plan.
Here's a third and goal look. They'll go I formation once again. Wesleyan will stack the box with 8 defenders. Handoff goes to Woods. Woods is held short once again. He'll get a gain of about 2, but the right side of that defensive line by Kansas Wesleyan does their job. They keep Woods out of the end zone once again. And as you mentioned earlier, 4-down territory here for Baker. Trying to break this 42-point consecutive scoring streak here from Kansas Wesleyan. Trying to stop the bleeding here. Maybe one of the final chances they get. 4th down and goal to go. 3 yards to the end zone, I formation. Faking the handoff is Aganaga. And he floats one in the back corner. There is no one there for Baker, and another turnover on downs for the Wildcats. And the Coyotes defense comes up huge once again, and they get the football back for this high-octane offense. What can you say? I mean, there was just nobody there for Aganaga. And the Coyotes bring the pressure once again. He has been uncomfortable all day long, and it was on display on that 4th down try.
Absolutely, and that was the kind of throw you make when it's 1st or 2nd down and there's nothing there. And I don't know that I've ever seen that before, Justin, on 4th down play. Usually you at least force something. I'm not criticizing Aganaga there, but it's just interesting to see that kind of a throw.
Well, I almost thought he was going to keep the ball when he rolled out with the RPO there, but perhaps sensing the defense coming at him a bit quicker than they actually were, and Wesleyan will take it. They'll take over on downs at their own 3 with just under 12 minutes left to go. Photo. He's going to look deep. He's going to have Stevie Williams here on the near sideline, and yes, it was a catch. You only need 1 foot down in the college game, and Williams was able to do that. And he's saying, feed me more, well over 100 yards, and a great over-the-shoulder catch there by the senior. You see it right here. Gets that left foot down before being pushed out of bounds. Coverage there on the play by Bryson Briggs. Since that early interception, Photo, for whatever reason, he's been picking on Briggs, and he's been having a lot of success in doing so. 1st and 10 Coyotes. Ball at the 33. Handoff goes right side. Short gain there by Singletary. Or excuse me, Sandoval with the carry along the right side. they've been so good at those chunk plays. The run is set up the pass. They go for pay dirt. McCauley, Williams, they've all had their success here in this passing game. And whoever gets Kansas Wesleyan in the quarterfinals is going to have their hands full.
Absolutely, and you mentioned it, Justin. You almost expect a run play when you're down there that close to your end zone, and that kind of a passing play, love that aggressive play calling.
Sanders in motion here, first down and 10 to go. Hand off to Sandoval, breaks the initial tackler. Moves the pile forward. What looked like might be brought down at the line of scrimmage. Sandoval able to make something out of nothing there.
Absolutely, showing his teammate, hey, I'm a tough runner too.
And you never know whatever happened to DeMarco Pruitt. Sandoval may be the workhorse in the quarterfinals. We just don't know yet. So a good to maybe get his feet wet, so to speak, here in playoff action for the freshman. 3rd down and 5 to go for the Yotes. Ball at the 38. Photo looks deep. Finds Sandoval, and head-on collision right at the line of scrimmage. And perhaps Grant Elston letting some of his frustrations loose on that tackle. Sandoval caught it, and he was met with authority there from the free safety. The closing speed by Elston. He was right there within 2 steps.
Well, and again, Justin, I want to go back to just the alertness of Johnny Photo there, making sure that there was a completion to keep that clock moving. Obviously, the game is probably well in hand, but you don't take anything for granted when you're in the playoffs.
Picked up 2, needed 5. And for the first time in quite a while, we'll see Juan Herrera in punt formation here for Kansas Wesleyan. Beautiful high end over end kick along the far sideline. Will take a Wesleyan bounce as well. And we'll be down at about the 17.5-yard line. That's where Baker will take over possession with 9:13 left to go in the ballgame. Well, if you're Kansas Wesleyan, with 9 minutes plus left to go, I think it's safe to assume that you probably just want to escape the injury bug here from here on out. We've already seen the injury to DeMarco Pruitt. You can ill afford to lose anybody else.
Absolutely, and I think at this point we can say we have a lot of confidence in this Kansas Wesleyan defense. As you mentioned, Justin, we expected a little bit more from the Baker offense, but just that tremendous pursuit from Kansas Wesleyan's defense. I'm excited to see them back out on the field here again to kind of put this game on ice.
That's exactly what they would have done had the crew not cleared the snow here earlier today. So 1st and 10 for Baker. Deep pass down the field, nothing doing there. Well out of the hands and incomplete, looking for Sam Huckabee. Huckabee's been a lone bright spot for this Baker offense today. Tried for the big chunk play there, but Aganaga overthrows his intended receiver on the play. Of course, Huckabee, first team Heart of America League nominee this year, had over 1,150 yards receiving. He's had a good ball game here today as well for Baker, leading receiver with 6 catches for 67 yards. 2nd and 10 Wildcats, ball at their own 18, just over 9 minutes left to go. Quick hitter here to the near side. Huckabee makes the initial tackler miss. The yards after catch will result in a 1st down for Baker. Dakota Anderson with the tackle there for Kansas Wesleyan. We've seen Stevie Williams' big playmaking ability for Kansas Wesleyan, his counterpart on the other end, and Sam Huckabee showing off his skill set on that catch.
Unfortunate Rashawn Broomfield trying to do his best to make a nice open field tackle, just a little bit perhaps too aggressive there.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. They'll go back to Huckabee on the far side of the field, and he'll have yet another 1st down for Baker. You hate to say this for the Wildcats, but really too little too late here. They're finally opening up the offense to some success here, but they've dug themselves such a huge hole to get back out of here.
And they really gave us that impression in the first half that they wanted to run their offense through their running game, but Shaq Bradford able to get not necessarily the tackles, but all that pursuit in the backfield, and Warren Singletary doing such an excellent job in that first half, helping contain those running plays as forced Baker into maybe a way they didn't want to play.
Single back formation, deep hitch over the far side, and it'll be picked off on the play by Dakota Anderson. The ball hawk comes away with his 8th interception of the season. I think you're absolutely right, Michael. This Baker offense had to abandon the run game. That's been their bread and butter all year long. Aganaga's been uncomfortable in the pocket, and he throws his first pick of the contest there right into the hands of the waiting free safety in Dakota Anderson.
Well, and if you look across the NAIA, you look at stats from the last few years as far as running yardage per game, and a lot of teams really like to rely on that running game, and Baker appears to be one of those as well, but Kansas Wesleyan containing that so well.
Yeah, both J.D. Woods and Nigel Houston, the two top tailbacks for this Baker squad, they came in averaging 7 yards per carry on the season, and they just have not had any success at all running the ball here today. J.D. Woods had 7 carries for 23 yards through 3 quarters, and Nigel Graves Houston with 7 carries for only 3 yards. So not a lot doing on the run, on the ground game here today for Baker. Sandoval will take the first down carry here for Kansas Wesleyan. And now it's really just about clock management for the Coyotes, trying to take as much time off the game clock here as humanly possible. 3-yard pickup for Sandoval will bring up a 2nd and 7 for the Coyotes. Ball at their 13, clock continuing to run, 7.5 left to go in the ball game.
There was about 20 seconds left on that play clock there, Justin. They almost went with somewhat of a hard count.
Photo. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication, was looking for Richard McCauley on the far side. And Photo is down at the end of the play. Training staff's going to come over and take a look at him. Well, look, he threw it off his back foot, and there might have been a little bit of pressure there at the end. He's going to get up and walk off under his own power. Well, up 42-7. You might question why he's still in the ball game at this point. And we'll get to see what happened to quarterback Johnny Photo here on the play. There's the pursuit by the D tackle. And yeah, he was driven into the ground hard at the end of that play. It looked like Jake Zeiler, the D end, came crashing through there. Luckily, though, for Kansas Wesleyan, it looks like Photo's okay. And then he has some words for the D end afterwards as well, maybe getting a little bit chippy here toward the conclusion of this contest. But we talked about the injuries, and good to see it's not a major one here for quarterback Johnny Photos. He will come out of the contest. And there was a penalty. They did get Zeiler for the personal foul there. That will move the chains, and a fresh set of downs here for Kansas Wesleyan. So the Coyotes will have it 1st and 10 at their own 28. And we'll see the backup quarterback for the first time today. It'll be a handoff right side. Tackle on the play by Jake Zeiler. And Sandoval with yet another carry there for Kansas Wesleyan. So time continuing to tick off the clock here for the Coyotes. Under 7 minutes to go, as they are well in control here today, 42-7. .6:45 to go. Pistol set here for Kansas Wesleyan. Handoff will go to Sandoval along the right side once again. He'll test his luck. And maybe a half-yard pickup there for the freshman.
You see it here running down close to the end of the game here, Justin. Just kill that clock. There's obviously we've got a couple of hopefully minor injury concerns for Kansas Wesleyan. No reason to take any risk at this point.
Johnny Carmack's the backup quarterback now for Kansas Wesleyan. Safe to say Johnny Photo's ball game is probably done after that injury scare toward the end. He was really fighting and clawing through here today. 3rd down to go. Sandoval right side, huge hole. He'll pick up the first down. He'll keep this drive alive for Kansas Wesleyan. You love to see that out of the freshman closing minutes of the contest.
Absolutely, Sandoval. One of those you're tough at the beginning of the run, and then you use your quickness to break free.
You see it there, left sideline. His best run of the ball game, getting down to the 45-yard line. Clock continues to tick, 5:40 to go. Coyotes well in control here, up 42-7. Carmack out of the pistol. He'll fake the handoff. Tried to pitch it near side. Pass incomplete to Roy Sanders. He was there, but just didn't have enough push on that football as the Coyotes tried to test their luck to the far side of the field.
Well, it's a fun little play call. One of those, you're in this portion of the game, you might as well try something, right, Justin?
That's absolutely right. Well, we will see who Kansas Wesleyan will face in the quarterfinals. Probably at about 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. The NAIA does it a little differently than what you're accustomed to. They reseed after the first round. We'll try to get some scores here at the conclusion of this contest as well. Before the play, we'll have a flag on the field. We'll see what the white hat has to say here with 5:30 left to go, and it's a false start on Kansas Wesleyan.
Go back for a minute to that run by Singletary just a minute ago. By Quincy Sandoval. You really love the way his head's inside and then just that quick cut to go outside and found himself a lot of space there. Looked like it might have been a design run inside, but he found something out of nothing for that big gain.
Well, perhaps a showcase here for the freshman. We still have not gotten word on DeMarco Pruitt. Carmack will keep it himself here on second down and smartly slides forward there rather than take on the contact. More importantly, though, the clock continuing to churn here as we approach the 5-minute mark of the ballgame. Well, Carmack was a high school quarterback and gets to showcase his skills here in replacing Johnny Foto, who had a fantastic ballgame here today for Kansas Wesleyan. Really only the one blemish, that was the second play of the game with the interception from Bryson Briggs. He was very efficient the rest of the ballgame.
It really just felt like the first quarter was so long ago, Justin, almost a completely different game. Ever since Kansas Wesleyan started getting better protection for Photo late in that first quarter, it's been all Kansas Wesleyan.
Carmack will keep it himself on the RPO on the third down. Spin move, gets to about midfield. Will come up about 5 yards short of the fourth down. Or excuse me, the first down. Really now in no man's land, but can't fault Coach Hendrickson here. He's going to bring out the punt team on fourth down. Good job by Carmack just to try to keep the play alive there. Wanted desperately to move the chains and keep this clock churning down, but the defense had something else on their mind there. So we'll see Herrera for the second time here in the second half in punting formation. Grant Elston back to take the punt for Baker. Kicks away. Line drive will bounce at about the 25 and be down by the 22 there from Kansas Wesleyan.
I think, Justin, we'd be remiss if we didn't give credit to all these Texans and Californians on the Kansas Wesleyan roster. Probably not used to these colder November temperatures like we have here in Salina, Kansas, and just really showing a lot of toughness to play in a little bit of a cold in the cold.
And we'll see what next week brings for this squad as well. Again, the seeding changes after the first round here today. I think it would be safe to assume Kansas Wesleyan will probably host another game here coming up next week. We don't know that for a fact, but with the way things played out for this team last year, they were able to host 2 home games, and that should be the case here again this season, but we won't know that until later on tonight. Baker will take over at their own 22. It'll be a QB keeper by Aganaga, and he'll be forced out of bounds along the far sideline. Well, final 3:30 here to go, and I think it's safe to say that, we assumed this would be a much tighter contest, closely contested, but Kansas Wesleyan really ran away with things really at the start of that second quarter when they scored 21 answered to go into the halftime break.
A lot of times you look at strength of schedule as more of an evening factor when you see, okay, this one team has 2 losses, one team's undefeated. So that's part of why we expected a closer game today, Justin.
Second down, far sideline pass will be corralled there by Sam Huckabee. And you mentioned the strength of schedule. You look at Baker's schedule. Again, they went 2-2 to start the regular season. They closed out the year at home against Benedictine. Of course, that's the team that beat Kansas Wesleyan in the semifinals last year. They beat them 30-10. Benedictine was ranked number 12 at the time. They closed out the season with Evangel, another HOA powerhouse. Handled their business in that contest 28-21. So this is a battle-tested team in Baker. They're going with a flea flicker here on second down. It will work to their advantage. Huckabee is able to corral it in, stays inbounds before trotting out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. We see Baker get cute with the play calling here to close out the contest, and just kind of at a loss for words. But Baker was so good offensively coming into today. Held to 7 points here, and really they only scored that 7 because of the interception from Photo setting up the short field for the offense. This defense has really pitched a shutout here today. First down, pass completed over the middle. Receiver will be brought down at the 31-yard line, but once again it's Sam Huckabee, and we've said it time and time again, he's been one of the lone highlights of this game for Baker on offense.
And according to what we've got, Justin, Sam Huckabee is a sophomore, so if you're a Baker fan, you can be excited for this young man's future next couple of years in your program. He's really shown us a lot of different abilities, able to get open, great ability to one-handed catches, that sort of thing.
Here's a handoff, or excuse me, the fake handoff on first down. Aganaga's going to look deep, and pass will be incomplete. Coverage there on the play by Kansas Wesleyan. It was Rashawn Broomfield. Probably got an eyesight there of Nate Pauley. Pauley looked like he was going to corral that one, but you see Broomfield come over at the last second and really get in his way and force that incomplete pass.
And Broomfield just managed to get just a little bit of a finger on that football there, Justin. Just knocked it a little bit out of the ability of Pauley to catch it.
1:51 left to go. Coyotes well in control here, up 42-7. Aganaga will go under center. He'll hand it off to Woods. Woods will move the chains, it appears. He'll have enough for the first down. They'll stop the clock to move the chains. Tackle on the play by Jasper Chavez. Well, we mentioned Baker's schedule. You look at Kansas Wesleyan's. Avila was really the only team this year to challenge Kansas Wesleyan. K-Dub had their struggles as well to close out the regular season. They had 2 top 25 opponents ranked. They handled their business against Sterling and Bethel, and have done a great job here today in controlling Baker. Aganaga will find Nate Pauley. There's another first down for the Wildcats. Broomfield there once again to make the tackle for Kansas Wesleyan. And the Wildcats will take their first time out of the ballgame. 1:12 left to go. All but over here, but if you're Baker, you want something positive to go into next year on. I think that's what head coach Jason Thorne is thinking there on the far sideline.
Absolutely, Justin. You mentioned Baker's a proud program, having been to the playoffs in NAIA a number of times, and just you want to come out of this with something positive. A lot of younger players, younger roster. Kansas Wesleyan really perhaps was just experience that took over today. Like I said, for me, it was like 2 different games. The first quarter felt like a different ball game, and ever since then, just dominance by both Kansas Wesleyan lines. Great protection for Photo in those second and third quarters, and we talked about a little bit before about how Baker just has such a great running game. Kansas Wesleyan stuffed that, and it forced them maybe for them being Baker, into being a kind of team I don't think that they intended to be today.
You take a look at the history of these two programs. Baker used to be in the KCAC with Kansas Wesleyan. They went to the HOA in about 1970. The Wildcats have won their last 8 against Kansas Wesleyan, but the last time these two teams faced was in 1985. So just a little bit of history there. Out of the timeout, Kansas Wesleyan swarming defense all over the play there. There's Jesse LaSalle there with the sack for Kansas Wesleyan. His first sack of the season and mop-up duty here for Kansas Wesleyan, and it comes in a playoff game. The 6-foot junior from La Mesa, California. Happy to get involved with this Wesleyan defensive attack here today. 2nd and long. Quick pitch to the near sideline. It's Pauley. He'll step out of bounds at about the 11. We'll bring up a 3rd down here with 33 seconds left to go for Baker.
Yeah, Baker just trying desperately to find the right play call to get into that yellow end zone. Just Kansas Wesleyan holding in a playoff game, holding their opponent with a high-powered offense under their defensive scoring average for the season. It's just been a just remarkable effort.
Yeah, and this is a Baker offense that averaged about 39 points per game on the season. They ran into a brick wall today in this Wesleyan defense. Aganaga will keep it on the QB keeper. Third down, will be forced out of bounds at around the 7-yard line. And I believe that will be enough to move the chains. Yes, it is. It'll be a 1st and goal now here for the Wildcats. Aganaga showing the elusiveness there on the carry. It seems that's where he's his most comfortable as well, as when he's scrambling around in the pocket. But Kansas Wesleyan's done a good job in containing that asset here today.
Well, and he's shown good arm strength too. Aganaga has just a couple of nice downfield throws to Sam Huckabee. Really just great arm strength, but just not able to make those plays happen often.
He'll go out of the I formation here on 1st and goal. Had a receiver open and Sam Huckabee there on the far sideline. It'll go incomplete. Scott Helspur there with the coverage for Kansas Wesleyan. 24 seconds left to go. Coyotes up 42-7. Baker will go into the offseason looking for answers. As you mentioned, they've been in the NAIA National Playoff race the last 6 years. This will be the first time that they have bowed out in the first round. And for the second straight year, Kansas Wesleyan will be heading to the quarterfinals. I formation, 2nd and goal. Aganaga rolls out of the pocket, floats it into the back of the end zone. That's incomplete. That play just has not been there all afternoon long. Wesleyan with great coverage there in the back of the end zone.
And Justin, you made mention about that front set for Kansas Wesleyan. The linebackers, I don't know if we've even needed to call their name too much because the coverage has been too good. There's been no pass attempts, but for the linebackers and safeties to look after. They've all been defended adequately and very well by the cornerbacks.
It's been a collective unit here today as well. No one player has really stood out defensively for Kansas Wesleyan. All 11 players collectively as a team did the job here today, as showcased on that play here. Carry up the right sideline, J.D. Woods. He'll be brought down by Anthony Munro. And with 10 seconds left, Baker is going to call yet another timeout. They'll have 4th down and goal to go. 5 yards to find the end zone coming out of the timeout. Wesleyan's done everything they could here today in these types of situations, and they came away unscathed. They have one play left here to really virtually pitch the shutout, minus the one play earlier on in the ballgame.
Absolutely, that 15-yard running touchdown in the first half. Other than that, nothing given up by the defense today, except a couple long pass plays, but no scoring.
A lot of positives to take away from this contest if you're Coach Myers Hendrickson for Kansas Wesleyan. The one lone question we'll have coming out of today is DeMarco Pruitt. What was the injury? Is it serious or not? Hopefully nothing too terrible for the reigning Offensive Player of the Year in the KCAC Conference.
And I've been watching him, Justin, over here on the sideline. He's bouncing around, trying to stay warm. I think he looks pretty fresh. Of course, we'll see how he's feeling.
4th and goal, pass deflected and incomplete. Javon Codlin with the coverage there for Kansas Wesleyan. Another turnover on downs for Baker, and that will about wrap things up here today, as Codlin was all over that from the get-go, knocking it away from the receiver, and I believe it was Sam Huckabee there for Baker. Indeed it was. Codlin was with him stride for stride, and you see using the left hand to tip that one away and incomplete. That's just great coverage there by the senior. Another senior making a big play here today for Kansas Wesleyan, as the Coyotes will go to the victory formation here with 6 seconds left to go in the contest.
And a very fitting form. That just a great image there of him running away from knocking that pass down.
It'll be Peyton Farrington taking the knee for Kansas Wesleyan, and that will do it. A dominating performance here today by the Wesleyan Coyotes as the number 3 seed knocks out the number 15 seed Baker University Wildcats today. Your final score from Gene Bissell Field, Kansas Wesleyan 42 and Baker 7. Michael, we've talked about everything here today for Kansas Wesleyan, and it all started with that man right there in Johnny Photo. Photo, of course, finding Poe Evans. Poe Evans had a great game, over 100 yards. J.D. Woods had the lone rushing touchdown here today for Baker. But he was really bottled up by this strong front seven for Kansas Wesleyan.
Well, and then early in that third quarter, when we wondered perhaps Baker might be able to get back into this game, that first drive, just the creative play calling, the pass plays to men who didn't have a catch yet this year, and just going creative plays with DeMarco Pruitt, finding different routes and getting tough runs, and just an overall great game.
There's that tough run on display there for DeMarco Pruitt, his only rushing touchdown of the contest. Of course, Johnny Photo threw for 5 passing touchdowns here today. 3 of those going to the senior and Richard McCauley, and 2 goes to the big workhorse and Stevie Williams. He had over 100 yards receiving here today as well.
In the first half, Trenton Cole-Williams, you mentioned him, really was a workhorse, getting tough first downs when nothing much was happening for Kansas Wesleyan's offense. And then Stevie Williams and Richard McCauley really took over receiving-wise.
Pruitt there with another big carry. You said you saw him on the sideline toward the end of the contest. Hopefully that hamstring is a very minor injury and he's able to come back out for the quarterfinals for Kansas Wesleyan coming up next week. Again, we do not know yet who the Coyotes will face. We're assuming they'll probably have another home game based on the seeding here in round 1, as they were the 3 seed coming into today. But a collective effort here today for Kansas Wesleyan, the offense, the defense, and the special teams all collectively doing their jobs here today.
Who's your offensive player of the game today, Justin?
I think you have to give it to your signal caller and Johnny Photo. After the interception on the second play of the contest, he responds with 42 unanswered points, 5 passing touchdowns. It's hard not to give it to the KCAC Player of the Year.
And I'm going to give my defensive player of the game to that entire Kansas Wesleyan line, just really shutting down the running game and forcing Baker into being the kind of team they didn't want to be.
Well, for the second straight season, Kansas Wesleyan is heading to the quarterfinal round of the NAIA Football Championship Series. Our final score here today at Gene Bissell Field, Kansas Wesleyan 42 and Baker 7. We hope to see you next week. Thanks for watching.